Homestead Miami Speedway, formerly known as the final race in the NASCAR Cup Series season, but now tonight it's going to be known as who gets on to the next round in the Fast Family League Showdown. Hello, everybody. I'm your host, Kid Dynamite 185. Alongside of me is JRM Dohar 88, and of course, I'm Rick James 36. And also with us today are our race officials, Mr. Slide Job 1996 and Ford Tough 82, along with our pace car in our trip. So, Slide Job, if you guys can provide us with an update here, that would be perfect.
Sure. So, last night we had a very great battle, double header actually. So I will talk about the first one. Ford will give you the results on the second one. But at least my race at 6:30 yesterday was absolutely fantastic. We saw a real David versus Goliath situation. We had SXRL versus All Out Racing. What a fantastic job those guys put on at Charlotte. At the end of the day, we saw something really special. SXRL pulling away with the win, and so far the top seed in the tournament with a total for the bye of 424 points to All Out's 220. The final score for the Charlotte event, including the third stage, 478 to 221. Shout outs to Lucky Dog 385 for taking not only the win but the top spot in SXRL, getting all 70 points. Shout out to King Bentley 007 for leading the All Out Racing team with 31 points. So I'm going to kick it off to Ford to talk about that second matchup.
That second matchup was really exciting. I mean, like you said, it was a David versus Goliath. The seeded team actually got upset last night. We had pure speed and above average. That race was pretty much all green. First stage we had one caution out of the whole race, and it came down to strategy. They had a few mess ups on pits, so a few people got a few pit penalties, but altogether above average was able to upset pure speed with a total of 369 to 275. But shout out to all those guys. Both teams ran really hard, and to me it was a very clean race. To go that many laps with one caution, they set the bar as far as cautions go.
Absolutely, and we have seen it all now. We saw our first seeded team fall with above average taking the victory. Also, just shout out to JP Big Dog leading the Pure Speed guys with 45 points, and a shout out to E-Dog 8829 leading the above average boys with 53. So what a great doubleheader we had last night. We've been seeing some crazy racing, and talking about crazy racing, we've got a good one tonight. So let's meet our commentator booth. So first and foremost, we have second time in the booth, but first time being our main streamer tonight, we have Kid Dynamite. So Kid Dynamite, how are you enjoying the competition, and what are you most excited about tonight?
Oh man, I am really just glad to be here again. It's only my second time on, but again, yeah, first time streaming as you said, and I'm expecting a pretty good race tonight. We have two good squads going head to head, and so I'm expecting a very competitive race tonight, especially with the way the track is at Homestead. It's a very dynamic track compared to the rest of the mile and a halves that we have on the schedule. So I'm expecting a pretty good race tonight.
Absolutely, we cannot wait for it. Second next to you, we have your pace car from a couple nights ago. We
our
have
favorite
JRM
pace
Dohar.
car.
Yeah, our favorite pace car. JRM Dohar is in the booth tonight. You saw some action trackside, but now it's your first time in the booth. Tell us what you're most excited for tonight.
Well, I'm excited for the pace car. I mean, the racing is only as good as the pace car is going to be out there, so I'm excited for NNR Trip being out there. No, I'm just playing. I'm really excited for this race tonight, guys, because I think we've got one of our most evenly paired matchups that we're going to have. Pair that matchup with Homestead Miami Speedway, which provides some of the best side-by-side action you're going to get on NASCAR Heat. I think it's a recipe for a perfect race. It might be even a recipe for a disaster. They're going to be teetering on the line of racing hard with each other, racing side by side, trying to manage spots, because not only do you want to win, you want to accumulate the most points so you get a little bit better seeding for the reseed of round 2 and the road course round. So it's going to be a lot of strategy involved for these guys, really trying to edge out and get as big of a victory margin as they can.
Absolutely. You definitely said it well there. Homestead Miami having an awesome reputation for both great racing and great crashes. So we will see which one of those two we're going to have, if not both, tonight. And last but not least, in the booth tonight, the man, the myth, the legend, I am Rick James, 36. How excited are you for our third and final race at Homestead Miami?
Thanks for having me, Slide Job. Thanks for having me, Kid and JRM. I'm Rick James, 36, and I am wildly excited. I've lost count with how many races we've had in this tournament so far. Myself, Atlanta Racing, Repeat, Kid, we've all been in multiple races, and the excitement never fades. It's the 16th race of this first round, and so far, Homestead Miami Speedway has been one of the most thrilling tracks of the 16. The progressive banking is going to ensure side-by-side racing through the corners and drag races down the straights. I can't wait to get this thing started.
Absolutely. Well, it's definitely going to be a great one between WSRL and Unbound Racing League. So without further ado, let's go trackside for the pre-race ceremonies tonight.
Welcome back, racing fans, for tonight's race between the Unbound Racing Cup Series and the Wild Sports Racing League. We are in the midst of qualifying right now, but before we finish up here, we're going to go over the rosters. So I'm Rick James. Would you like to go over the first bio and roster for whatever your league is?
Well, luckily, I get to be a neutral in tonight's race, but I'm going to go ahead and start with Unbound Cup Series. In the number 38, we're going to be looking at Big Spur 1-4. He's highlighted in red. He's our league captain, team owner tonight. In the number 8, starting right behind him, is Memphis X9. Then you've got P-Man 445 in the 9, Nasty 3006, Racing Rocks 24, following up in the 22. After Racing Rocks, you got Hurricane Lane 22. In the car number 24, you got William Barron. In number 48, you've got Keith the 6950, Richard Iceberg in the 77, Yang Bubs in the 88. Starting off with the substitutes for Unbound is the Madman 35, TG White Shadow, and Sports Fan rounding out the roster for Unbound.
All right, and then thank you for that one. Moving on here. JRM, would you like to go over the roster for the WSRL?
Absolutely. So representing the Wild Sports Racing League is going to be owner Wild Will in the number 4. You're also going to have Chased Dreamer out there in the 00 Quinn Houth machine. Chevy Man going to be in the number 1. Outlaw Beast in the Cook number 6 car. Jay Grant in the 11. Shadow in the 13. Avenged King in the 14. Big Daddy Pell Pro is going to be in the 17, rounding out the Roush Ford Mustang camp. You're also going to have WSRL Party Master. He's going to be in the number 19. The Cowboy Nation in the 42. And for WSRL, they have 2 substitutes, Powder in the 18 and Haas Bass, in the 73.
All right, great. So then, Rick James, would you like to go over the bio for the Unbound Racing League? Just kind of tell us a little bit about their origins and and their starting date and all that stuff.
I would absolutely love to. Starting with Unbound Racing League, the team on the right, led by the 38 there, highlighted in red. They formed in November of 2019. They're going to be starting season 3, July 28. So that's going to be, they just started that 3rd season. Over 30 drivers that race at least one of their 3 series, and their Xfinity nights run Tuesday at 9 with the Cup nights Wednesday at 9. And then they also run open wheel. The Unbound IndyCar series is on Project Cars 2 at 10:30 on Thursday nights. That must be thrilling to call. The first league of Unbound was originally known as the Credit One Cup Series. They got its name from a t-shirt shop owned by Dakota Menapass, one of the owner's friends. They often do memorial races throughout the year to commemorate friends that aren't around anymore, the first one being January of this year at Talladega.
Okay, that is a great...
Unbound continues to race for its loved ones and members of the military. All champions of the Unbound Racing Series receive a trophy and cash prize, or what the option these drivers sometimes take is to donate to either the Wounded Warriors Project or the Victory Junction Gang. Young Savvy 14, Big Spur 14, Racing Rocks 24, Tex Pelt, and P-Man, all champions in this league.
Okay, thank you for that one, Rick James. It's a very good intro and bio for the Unbound Racing League. Moving on, JRM Dohar, would you like to go over the bio of the WSRL and kind of tell us a little bit about what their league is all about?
Sure thing, Dynamite. So the Wild Sports Racing League, better known as WSRL, has a board of directors comprised of league owner William Cornett, vice president Trevor Thompson, general manager of operations Javi Toro, Cup admin Dan Kenny, and Xfinity admin DJ McCarley. Wild Will came up with the idea for the league after experiencing terrible online racing. Back in June of 2019, 5 guys raced for the first ever WSRL league race competition. Class and respect is the mantra for WSRL and what they were founded upon. Now WSRL offers some of the best preset racing on esports. They currently have 20 to 25 active drivers on the roster. They only have 4 easy and simple requirements: a strong internet connection, a headset for communication, Discord for race communication if necessary. Be fast, hold your line, and have fun. They race on Thursday nights at 10:30 p.m. Eastern for their trucks, Friday nights at 11:30 for their Xfinity Series. They also have their Cup Series on Wednesday nights. And they run presets with pit road adjustments, normally 50% races in their Cup, 100% in the lower tier series. 2 times wear, stages on, cautions on, damage on. And they, too, also do a lot of work with the Wounded Warrior Project. So very good to see that we have 2 leagues with common philanthropic avenues coming together and racing against each other here.
Yes, two very good squads about to go head to head in tonight's matchup. Both again with ties, with the Wounded Warrior programs. That's also very good to see. But as we near the end of qualifying here, I believe everybody's qualified, and I believe Slide Job.
Yep, they're all done.
Looks like Slide
If
Job
you
is
wouldn't
going down.
mind, I could give you a Fast Family exclusive. Go onto my car right now. I'll give you guys a lap around the track. Give you guys a look at Homestead. If you haven't seen it before, we're entering into turn 1. What's really cool about the turns in Miami Homestead is that you could take the high line, the low line, and the middle line. I took the middle line there. Then you get a good launch down the back straight. You want to get a good launch out of the corner. We're going to take the high line this time. A lot of drivers like to run up here. It gets a little slick. You got to feather it to keep it. And come to the line.
Okay, thank you for that Slide Job. Very good lap around the track right there. It's definitely a very dynamic track, especially compared to all the other mile and a halves that we have on the racing schedule. It's definitely probably one of the tougher ones, especially when those tires start to get slick and they start to kind of give out a tad bit. It can get very gnarly to try to handle. So thank you for that one. But again, as we hit near the end of qualifying here, we will be back after a short break for the green flag of tonight's matchup between the Unbound Racing League and the Wild Sports Racing League. Welcome back, race fans, to the Fast Family League Showdown here for tonight's primetime matchup between the Unbound Cup Series and the Wild Sports Racing League. Again, joined alongside me is I'm Rick James, 36, and JRM Dohar, 88. Boys, we should have a very good one in store for us tonight, don't we?
I think
Absolutely
so. It's absolutely.
I was leaving it to you guys.
I was waiting for you.
I was leaving it to you
Waiting
guys.
on
I was
you,
like, I was
man.
trying to see if we get that chemistry going early, but yeah, it definitely should be a good one here as we're waiting to take the green flag for tonight's race. And again, Homestead, a very difficult track, very difficult one indeed. But here we go. Pace cars off, and green flag is in the air. We are green here at Homestead, Miami Speedway. Here comes the 42 of Cowboy Nation into turn 1 to take the green flag with the 22 right behind him, the 12 on his bumper as they come off of turn 2.
Down the backstretch now, side by side. These drivers are going to have to stay off of each other in these early laps if they want to see success. This track notorious for, and all yellow already with
Yep.
drivers already getting into it.
Already we
Early
have
yellow.
a caution. Yep.
Yeah, I saw a couple competitors getting loose off turn 2 there, and that's the thing. You know, on preset racing, you have such a plethora of choices when it comes to what preset you want to run. Do you want to run that higher preset, that's 5, that's 6, possibly 7, which then, consequently, you have to make adjustments that are going to tighten the race car up. Do you want to run the lower preset, like a 3 or a 4, even a 2 from some of these guys I'm hearing might be running? That means that you got to make a lot looser of adjustments at the beginning. I think you saw a couple of the guys on higher presets there just lose a little bit of control, but we're going to be under a pretty little yellow right here to start things off, and they're going to be able to come down pit road, get some quick adjustments.
Yeah, very quick caution indeed. Already didn't even get back to the line. The caution was already out, so going to be interesting here to see guys pit. Do you guys think people will come in to try to get their setups in and try to do all that sort of stuff early?
I think the more cautious drivers are going to come down pit road, make the early adjustments that they need, and hang out at the back and see what the rest of the field does. Drivers like Cowboy Nation already setting the pace early by breaking out to a fast lead down that backstretch. I'm interested to see what the leaders do and how they choose to play it from here on out.
If I'm out in this field, Dynamite, I'm pitting. You cannot get behind your competition. You can afford to lose a little bit of track position, because the guys that stay out here are going to be out for lunch without pit road adjustments. They're just not going to be able to maintain the pace that you could put up once you've got your setup in.
Oh yeah, indeed. I feel like I kind of feel like the stigma of preset racing is that people try to say, oh, what setups can you really get in? But there's really a lot that you can do on pit road. I mean, tire pressures definitely do a lot here, as we see the 42, our leader, Cowboy Nation, coming in to pit first. He's the first lead lap car to come in here. But going back to the preset, yeah, I mean, I feel like getting your pit road set up in early is definitely very important, especially for something like this where points matter, especially stage points. You have got to do what you can to try to get that track position and try to set yourself up early for success. So as we look down see who's coming down pit road here. Got a bunch of guys. We got the 8 car of Memphis, Phoenix 9. He's coming in. Got a bunch of guys coming to pit road right now.
Yeah, 77, 88, or 73, 88, 19 is going to be in. A healthy mix between the two leagues here. The 8 car of Memphis being the top of the Unbound guys pitting here. And then you had the 42 Cowboy Nation from the WSRL stable coming down pit road. You've also got the 13 of Showdown pit road. He's got some damage, so you could tell that he was a part of that calamity on the first lap. But then our trip gets to lead a couple laps early here as the pace cars, they'll double up, get ready to go green here, hopefully very soon.
Yeah, so
42 leading this procession out of pit road in the Credit 1 Camaro. Cowboy Nation so far being the leader with that first lap falling under caution, but now he's going to have to work his way up. And now the interesting thing to see will be, do these back markers have what it takes to claw their way safely through this field?
Exactly, yeah. I think that's really the key here, is that now you got a bunch of guys on setups and a bunch of guys that aren't on setups. So now, those guys that did pit, they have to be careful here because, the race officials, they aren't going to take anything lightly. They're watching everything on the track. They know, or they're going to see, if we got people driving aggressively too much. We've already seen bits and pieces of people driving too aggressively, especially early in the race. You definitely don't want to do anything to hurt yourself or hurt your team. Especially, I was racing in one of the races last night, and myself, I kind of got taken out early. I got put two laps down, and I didn't get back on the lead lap till 20 laps to go. So you definitely got to be careful here early in stage 1.
Being cautious, being careful is all you can do, especially in a race of attrition as this. 3 stages, 50% race. It's going to be a long haul to the end. I'm going to be following along with the 42. We know he's got a fast car, single car qualifying starting on the pole. He's currently, about P16 on the grid, with most of the competitors in front of him choosing not to pit. How is he going to manage that fast race car and getting through the myriad of competitors in front of them? It'll be fun to watch as they get ready to head to the restart zone.
So here we go. Pace car pulling off. Penske on the front row, the 12 and the 22. Chevy's in the second row behind it. Here we go into the restart zone. Green flag back in the air. Racing here at Homestead, the 22 with a early jump here as they come into turn 1. The 12 car of Racing Rocks 24 on the bottom, though, trying to fight back on that bottom lane. They're already juking and jiving behind them, almost 3 wide behind the leaders. Here they come off turn 2. 12 cars get the run there on the inside. Oh, contact behind him. A car straight to the inside. We'll wait to see if a caution will come out here.
Oh my goodness,
so far,
major
everybody's
calamity.
gone clean, and now the 10 car's gone around on the apron of 3. The 4 gets into the 47, 10 cars sliding back up. We stay green so far with not more than 2 cars getting into the incident. You saw a sports fan in the 47 for Unbound. He made contact with the wall in turn 2 just as the safer barrier jumped out and bit him. They got 3 wide and there was nowhere to go. They saved it down the backstretch, but headed into the 3rd corner, you saw the 10 car of Nasty 3006. He went around. He'll find himself stone dead last with a big mountain to climb.
Yeah, that 10 car, it looks like he didn't wreck completely, but he's definitely way behind the field, so that's kind of a tough break, is when you don't really wreck fully, but you wreck just enough to take you off the pace and maybe a little bit of damage in there as well. So definitely not a good start for the 10 car. He will have a lot of ground to make up here as we move back up to the front of the field. The 22 leading the field here. Hurricane Lane 22 with the 12 car of Racing Rocks 24 just on his bumper. The 2 Penske guys pulling away from the pack right now with the 00 sitting right behind along with the 9 car. So we'll see how this one plays out here. A long way to go here, but we'll see what happens when these tires start to wear, because you see these guys, running different lanes. You got guys around the top, the bottom, even the middle lane. Really all lines on this track work in NASCAR Heat 5, so it's going to be interesting to see, how guys switch up their strategy in terms of what lane to use as the tires start to give out here.
Absolutely. I think we just had our first lag out of the session. I believe the 00 car of Chase Dreamer might have lagged out of the event. I'll have to keep an eye out. But right now, guys, I'm keeping an eye on the 8 of Memphis. He's right now the about to be the flag bearer for Unbound as he gets by his teammate there in the 9, PP Man, as they head down into turn number 1 and 2. But the 8 is the first car who came off pit road. He's currently in P3. He's already getting back up there as you see him get a little loose off of 2, the Tom Flitty special, as I like to call it. But he's making his way up through the field nicely. Again, restarted about P15. He's already up to P3 and looking to chase down those Penske teammates.
So hard. Those are Unbound teammates as the 14 of Avenged gets into the wall. And I was just going to say 4 of the top 5 are Unbound race cars. But that mistake just made by Avenged King 7 in the number 14 Office Depot Mustang costs him 5th, and the top 5 now being held by Unbound Racing. Dohar, you mentioned how the 9 and the 8 of P-Man and Memphis continue to battle. Those two are also Unbound teammates. Not the wisest decision as tires start to wear. You can see the 9 is losing traction and valuable time as he continues to fight his teammate down the stretch.
Yeah, these are two guys right here. The 9 of PP Man 445 and the 8 of Memphis Phoenix 9. Yeah, they are really battling right now, and obviously, you obviously want to race hard, but you don't want to race too hard because you don't want to wreck one of your teammates out. But at the same time, if you're faster than one of your teammates, well, you got to go. You have to do what's best for yourself at the end of the day, and obviously, the team is a important part, but at the same time, you don't want to sacrifice, the benefit of the team because you don't want to pass your teammate. I mean, if you're faster, you might as well just go. But right now, these two guys are really staying neck and neck right now, really just trading paint back and forth here. This is really fun to watch right now.
Well, you bring up a very good point there, Dynamite. Oh, as we see the 14 get way loose, he's checking out the inside wall and the facilities down there. But that's one thing you talk about, as a teammate. What is the proper etiquette here? Do you race each other? You don't really have much pressure behind you. Do you go for the personal glory? Do you go for the better team finish? I mean, it's something that, each team is going to have that different chemistry with the various drivers that they have. They're going to get different results in that. You saw in the race yesterday, SXRL. Anytime they were together, they never raced side by side. They were nose to tail, helping each other out and drafting. Whereas here, we're seeing a lot of these Unbound guys racing with each other because they have that comfort. They have that sense of, they're used to that. But as I'd say that, we got the 77. He is of Richard Iceberg. He is the torchbearer for the WSRL right now. He is currently in P6, trying to get by that 42 Cowboy Man, who's already made his way up to P5.
Yeah. Dohar, that 42 car racing for WSRL. You see the 77
yep.
getting loose off of 2, and the tires are starting to wear, kid. The 42 of Cowboy Nation, who defends his spot from Iceberg, is the driver for WSRL, and so far it's been a struggle. The 17 of Big Daddy gets loose off of turn 4 as well. You can tell the WSRL guys are driving hard, but it could cost them if they don't manage their tires. We're certainly within the pit window now, and the game has to be who dares come down pit road first. 17 nearly loses it again.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's a battle for the lead.
Yeah, as we go through the field here, back up to the lead with the 12 and the 22 here. But yeah, as you guys were saying, those tires are starting to wear, and we're already seeing effects of it, which that could come from a number of things. It could come from how your pit road setup is, and also could be a factor of what preset you in. Because I heard of some guys kind of going to
mega crash off turn 4. I hate to interrupt, guys. I happened to just scroll through it. The 19, the 47 involved. There was another competitor. I'm not quite sure who. They crashed coming off turn 4, no doubt. Probably a product of somebody getting loose. And to add to my earlier point, the 00 of Chase Dreamer is out of the event with a virtual blown motor. So knock WSRL down to 9 active competitors in this race.
So that's definitely a tough break for WSRL, and that's just kind of emphasizes the fact that they all have to get inside the top 10. At least most of them have to get inside the top 10. At least get 5 to 6 guys up there to keep yourself competitive, or at least have a chance, because obviously being down to 9 guys, that already puts you at a disadvantage here, as we are under caution due to again to how you guys were saying, probably someone getting loose off of one of the turns. We'd already seen that happen a lot in the past 3 laps or so. So we'll see who comes down pit road here. I expect everybody to come down pit road here. Do either of you guys expect anybody to potentially stay out here or no?
I don't think anybody's going to stay out. I think it'd be a really silly move considering how loose some of these drivers are getting coming out of the corners. Either too much wheel or not enough grip, but it's leading to vast amounts of oversteer. I'd be wildly surprised to see any of the WSRL drivers stay out. One thing that I am surprised, kid, is the top 4. All Unbound drivers, and then the next 2 drivers in line, the 42 of Cowboy Nation and the 73 of Hasbass, both WSRL drivers. So far, they're starting to make their way up to the top 5, but the only reason they're there is because the Unbound drivers continue to race each other down the straights. Expect in stages 2 and 3 to see these teams begin to work together and pull away from the rest of the pack.
Yeah, so
I gotta agree with you there. These guys racing really hard, but I don't think it's quite as detrimental them racing as hard to these other competitors catching up. Again, the 42 being the pole sitter, I put a lot of stock into that myself as a driver. When you're able to get the pole in a single qualifying session, it really shows you got the track figured out. I think that 42's just got that good of a piece. And he was able to get up through traffic. Not as fast as the 8 car, though, so let's keep that in mind. They both started in the same row. They almost came out to the same position on the racetrack after racing that green flag run there, but it took the 42 a little bit longer to get up there. And the 73 also has a very competent piece right now. You've also got the 17 right behind both of those guys. I believe that is a WSRL driver as well. So you got a healthy mix of both here represented in the top 10.
yes, indeed. So while these guys take a pit stop, we will take a pit stop ourselves and take a minor break here. We'll be back in just a short moment after pit stops. Welcome back, racing fans. Here, as we just got off of pit stops here. I believe we're about to hit the green flag here. Everybody came into pit road for that last pit cycle, so we will see. I would assume they would go green. Yep, pace car is off. So here we go. Into the restart zone they come. Green flag back in the air. We are racing here once again at Homestead and Miami Speedways. The 12 car of Racing Rocks 24 gets out to a early lead here again coming to turn 1, but the 9 car on his rear. He is looking there on the inside with the 8 car trailing right behind him, but the 8 car slides up the racetrack. Here comes the 22. A Penske teammate coming in behind him, and a big crash in the back. We had cars wrecking everywhere. No caution.
2 or 3 cars
happened
involved
there?
in that one. Lots of damage after the pit stop cycle. You see those 2 Penske cars back out to the lead. The pace car, NNR Trip, he just broke out, but he stays steady. And so far, we remain green. Hurricane Lane 22 in the Pennzoil Shell Mustang to the inside of not only his Penske teammate, but his Unbound teammate, Racing Rocks in the Jack Links Mustang. In the unmarked 9 Hendrick Camaro, you have P-Man. In the 42 behind P-Man is the highest-ranked WSRL driver of Cowboy. These 4 so far have been tearing away, and now, Dohar, you see the 22 of Hurricane Lane breaking away from the rest of the field.
42.
3 wide for second.
Yep, here comes the 42.
Yeah, 3
on the
wide
bottom.
for. Well, 3 wide for second. They're beating and banging in the middle. The 12's going to back out. He doesn't want any part of that. Now falls into the clutches of the 73 of Haspass. Now we're starting to see the top of WSRL battling the top of Unbound early on here in stage 1, excuse me, with only about 17 laps to go as these guys battling excruciatingly hard. The 22 able to eke away, the 9 trying to run him down, 42, 12, 73, all under a blanket as they head to the start-finish line.
Yeah, here they come. Yeah, 17 laps to go. Here's it coming to turn 1. The 22 pulling out to a large lead here. The 12 car looking under the 42.
Oh!
They have honestly, I think really the strategy is here is if you want to catch that lead car, you've got to get in a line and get in that draft and catch. We've seen that happen in multiple races this round. That's really key at at the mile and a half. It seems kind of unorthodox to do, but that's really just how this game functions. Is that more cars in a draft is just how you have to catch the lead car. You can't really do it by yourself, especially if that lead car definitely has a good setup in. As we see, the 22s pulling out to a large lead right now.
Kid, one lead car that hasn't had a lot of fortune is the 8 of Memphis Phoenix. You saw he didn't go on the restart, and he's been shuffled all the way to the back of this one. Currently sitting in 11th, almost losing that spot. Now he's slowly gaining his traction once again, but I don't know what happened to the 8. Either he took 2 tires or he gambled, but he took the restart in first, and he sunk all the way almost to the back of this field.
Yeah, definitely dropping.
As you were saying that, I had to interrupt because the 73 and the 12 were jockeying for position. The 73 had the position going into turn 3 and made contact with the left rear of the 12, pushing him up the racetrack and into the clutches of the 77 and the 88, some of his Unbound teammates. So first and second go to Unbound so far. 3 and 4 go to WSRL. A healthy mix up here in the top 4, and then a hornet's nest back here for P5.
Yeah, you definitely start to wonder if guys were maybe starting to take two tires on that last pit stop, or maybe guys really just over adjusted, because we see the 12 car, he's fading fast along with the 8 car. Those were 2 guys that looked fast at the beginning of the run along with the 22, but right now
crash.
The double deuces, we might have a crash here.
Huge crash on the backstretch, guys.
Right now, the double deuce is the only one of those 3 that's still looking strong right now as we try to flip the field. Yeah, the 10 car, he's looking a little slow right now, along with the number 4. Yes, the caution will wave here at Homestead. And we had a wreck in the backstretch, I believe, with the 10 car and the 4 car, I believe, as I was looking through the broadcast. As the 12 car is around, too, he looked like he wrecked coming, or it looked like he wrecked slowing down. So the 12 car of Racing Rocks 24, who was slow to begin with, it looks like he might have got into an altercation, slowing down after racing back to the line. So I don't know if he got any damage or not. As it looks like he's coming back up to take his position here, but hopefully he didn't get any damage. They're not sure quite what happened there, but guys, what did you JRM, what did you see in that last run right there? What kind of really stood out to you as just really eye-popping?
What's really standing out to me is the 6 Outlaw Beast right now. I'm watching him for WSRL. He's been kind of mired in the back of the pack, but on that run, taking advantage of the misfortune of the 8 and the 12, he was running the high side. He's not running the middle. He's running against the wall, kind of Kyle Larson, Tyler Reddick kind of line. And he's had it wound up there and has gotten himself firmly up into the top 10, running P6 right now on the door for a top 5. So I'm really keeping an eye out on the WSRL guys, because it seems as these pit stops progress, more adjustments get made. These guys are communicating very well and getting these adjustments throughout the team to make these race cars even better.
Yeah, obviously strategy being a very big part of this type of style of racing here with this head-to-head tournament style matchup. Rick James, is there anything that stood out to you in that last run that we saw?
What stood out to me was honestly the aggression coming off of the second corner. What caused that caution was contact with the safer barrier. The 4 of Wild Will C was only a bystander, getting caught up on the low side when a couple drivers around him smacked the safer barrier coming out of 2, and that's the second time today that the safer barrier has reached out and bit someone. You notice 2 of the leaders not pitting. That's the 9 of P-Man and the 42 of Cowboy Nation for Unbound and Wild Sports alike. So these 2 on worn tires, their competitors all taking fresh tires and fuel, or so we suspect. I'm very interested to see what these 4 drivers at the front have for the remaining 19 drivers behind them. Yeah. 15 drivers behind them, excuse me.
Yeah, this is
all Unbound guys staying out there. That's an interesting maneuver with just a handful of laps to go, but still, after running that many laps on these tires, Homestead, while it's a great and fantastic racetrack, the surface is old, the tire wear is worse. So even 1 or 2 green flag laps is the difference, guys, of a tenth or 2 a second. Now, that doesn't mean that it's easy to get up to the front. You got to navigate through the pack organically as best you can, lest you become part of the war of attrition that might be. But hopefully these guys that are taking tires just bide their time, because I think we're going to have 4 moving chicanes up here at the front staying out on old tires.
Yeah, this is definitely an interesting move to stay out here. To 4 guys staying out here on old tires, and it's definitely a risky move here, especially as we near the end of the stage. Not quite sure how many laps we have exactly to go here when they take the green, but it's definitely, I believe it's near 10, if not under 10. So maybe
10 to go this time.
10 to go this time. So that means
I'm sorry, 9 to go. Excuse me, 9 to go this time.
Okay, so
All right, so
they will restart with 8 to go. Is that what you're saying, Rick James, or will they?
If the pace car peels off this time by, they'll be restarting with 8 laps to go.
Okay.
Those top 4 drivers on worn tires.
So it's definitely a strategy move to try to get some stage points here. They could be trying to put up a wall because, I mean, you do have 4 cars up there. So, the more cars with old tires, the harder it is for the guys with fresh tires to get by, because, you just got, basically 4 bricks in the water right there, just sitting there on the front row.
Top 6 Unbound.
Top 6, but top 6 being. Yeah.
I was going to say top 6 being your Unbound. I believe the 24 did take 2 tires. He's been kind of at the back of the pack, guys. So he squirts his way up to the front. William Byron. Love that gamer tag. Also got the 22, who's been a mainstay up at the front of the field in P6. He's probably, I would expect, the first driver on 4 fresh Goodyear Eagles. You're going to then have the WSRL teammates of Outlaw Beast in the 6 up top. 73 car, who's been up at the front all day long. On the bottom, they're going to be restarting P7 and 8. So going to be interesting to see what these Unbound boys do as they get ready to head down to the Geico restart zone.
Here we go. Green flag back in the air. We're back racing here at Homestead Miami Speedway. Again, your top 6 being all Unbound here. You got the 42 and the 9 on the front row here. But it looks like the 42 got a bad restart here. Here comes the 38 on the outside. So let's see what the 38 can do. Let's see what kind of strategy these guys take, as everybody's getting. Oh, big wreck in the back. No. Did not want to see that, as we're still green here as of right now, as we're on board with the 12 car here of Racing Rocks 24 on those fresh tires, trying to hunt down these top 4 as he scrapes the wall.
They're going to crash off 4 again. Oh, the 11
big wreck behind, the 11 car involved. As we flip through the field here.
That was an accident that's been happening for a whole lap, guys. That's one of those ones where it's just a domino effect.
Yeah, the 11 car here of Jay Grant, 1192, stopped on the inside, as I believe the caution flag has waved here. Yep, caution flag has waved here. Everybody's slowing down, as already, right on the restart, we saw those old tires playing factory, and we still got sliding off turn 2, sliding off turn 4, probably loose in the middle of the turn, and it just did not create a good mix of cars. As that was interesting to see, though. That was definitely a very fun turn of events right there. As we are coming to 6 to go here when this pace car crosses the line here. But so, Rick James, do you think that staying out probably wasn't even really the best idea right there, or do you think, hey, it kind of worked out? You still got guys up there somewhat inside the top 10.
I think the guys at the front have no choice but to stay out. Race Control now laying down the rules for the first time, for anybody that is watching the Fast Family League Showdown for the first time, and to the fans at home, there are no cautions within the final 5 laps of the stage. I don't know if this was the gamble that Unbound planned on, but it certainly worked. So we're going to restart with less than 5 to go, with many of the top 10 still Unbound Racing League. So it could be a very, very lucrative first stage for the guys from Unbound.
Yeah, definitely that option to stay out there seemed kind of questionable at first, but they still got guys somewhat up there inside the top 10. So if they can just make these tires last a little bit longer here, as we're going to be coming to 5 to go at the line right here, again, there's no more caution. So it is kind of a risk, because if you wreck, you lose your spot. There's no chance at a caution, even if you do make contact with someone. So JRM, do you think we see a lot of defensive driving here at the end of stage 1, even though it is only a stage and not the end of the race?
To answer your question unequivocally, abso-frickin-lutely. You saw it on that restart. Heck, we couldn't even get about 300 yards or so before we saw major contact. It looked like one of the guys maybe missed a shift on the bottom, and then they head off into turn 1. And I was actually surprised the 9 and the 38, who had stayed out, 4 older tires, you think they'd get eaten up even by the guy with 2 tires in the 24. No, it was the 24 who struggled the most off that turn, losing 4 or 5 spots and actually being the congestion that brought everything back, and that caused the calamity off too, just because he was maybe struggling with the handling, probably a loose condition there, putting those 2 tires on. But now, if you pitted here, I don't know. I mean, we're going to have the 14, the 10. They're going to be coming off with fresh tires. Some other guys might have gotten some minor damage in that accident. It was a big accident. So I think if you're the 22 right now, you're sitting in the catbird seat. You got fresh tires from the previous caution. These other guys have older tires. You only got a handful of laps. Tell the 12 behind you, your teammate, give me some room, let me work these guys over, and then we could battle it out for the stage win here.
Yeah, so again, we're gonna see old tires play into effect here as we take the green flag. I believe we're gonna take it with 3 to go here, as I believe this is 4 when they cross the stripe right here. So 3 to go. Basically, all bets are off for the end of the stage. No more cautions when we take the green.
I don't know what's going on, but the 4 was just pushing the 12, so I don't know what's happening.
Yeah. Okay, so we got a little bit of already a little beating and banging under caution, so these guys are already getting after it here. But I believe that 12 car is on fresh tires as well, so that inside lane behind the 9 car could be very deadly here, as they could be the ones to kind of pull out or to kind of pull away here on the restart if they can find a way to get past the guys with old tires here, because the 9 and the 38 are both on old tires along with the 42. It's going to be a very interesting restart here, as you got a lot of guys on, a lot of teammates here, again, because most of that top 10 is Unbound, is the Unbound Cup Series, so again, it's definitely going to be hard to kind of, race cleanly, but yet still drive defensively to not let the other league, get that spot ahead of you. But with old tires, it's already hard enough to control your car. Then you add into the effect of trying to defensive drive. It's just not a good mix. But here we go. Pace cars off, coming to 3 to go into the restart zone. Green flag back in the air. We're green here at Homestead Miami Speedway. Once again, the 22 of Hurricane Lane. 22 diving to the inside. The 9 car gives up the bottom. The 12 car right behind the 22 as they come off of turn 2. Lots of bump drafting here down the back straightaway as we are see guys getting loose. Oh, there they go. Big right behind.
With the 6.
3 wide down the back straightaway. There goes the 4 car to the bottom of the apron. Here they come to turns 3 and 4, but it take 2 to go. The 9 car hitting the wall. Makes contact with other cars. They're beating and banging. It's bumper cars here at Homestead Miami Speedway as they are juking and jiving through the field right now. The 22 of that Penske 22 Ford leading his Penske teammate in the 12 with 2 laps to go as they come off turn 2. Again, the 22 and the 12. The guys on fresher tires pulling away from the field. The 9 car sitting right there in third, as it looks like it's going to be it should be a 1-2 Penske finish here, but we'll see. Obviously, anything could happen as they come through 3 and 4 to take the white flag from the stage. As they are really
Will just sent the 9.
The 14 to the bottom of the racetrack. Oh, he gets that one. The 9 car around. Here they come.
3 wide now for P3. Oh my goodness, they're everywhere.
As we're on board with the 47.
It's mayhem all over the place.
Yeah,
the 22 leading the 12 out of the second corner, and the 22's wildly loose out of 2. They're still wrecking, and this has been nothing but a demolition derby. Cars flying all over the place, and I don't know if this is a product of worn tires or the aggression has just boiled over. Coming out of the 4th corner, it's going to be 22-12, your first 2, Dohar.
Yeah, and then after that, calamity. The 88, 8, and 10 coming in there. I don't have the 10 on my roster, so I need to figure out what team he's racing for. Oh, he's on Unbound there. I found him now. So Unbound at least takes the top 5 spots maybe even more, because once the 4 wrecked there, that took the 73. That was the top of the WSRL chain there for a little bit. So Unbound definitely getting a leg up here in the first stage, taking the advantage, but just calamity all around. These guys are going to have to settle it down, lest this will turn into a boxing match with some virtual race cars.
Yeah, that was a wild end to the end of stage 1 right there. Lots of guys on the old tires creating lots of guys slipping and sliding all over the racetrack, and we saw 2 or 3 wrecks right there to end the stage here, as we are under caution right now, waiting for guys to get their setups in. As here we go, back double file once again here. About to start stage 2. Into the restart zone they come. Green flag back in the air for the start of stage 2. The 22 of Hurricane Lane sitting in third with the 47 of Sports Fan. He finished about, I believe, it could have been a little just outside the top 10 in stage 1. So that means he could have taken 2 right there, because he was definitely far back, because he is already fading and fading fast. Here comes the 22 of Hurricane Lane. He is charging on the inside along with his teammate, the 12 car of Racing Rocks 24, as they are 3 by 3 behind the leaders right now. Lots of beating and banging. As we take a look through the field here, as we go to the 8 car Memphis Phoenix. He's sitting right there about 4th or 5th, trying to battle with that 10 car of G Nasty 3006. Here they come off turn 2. Lots of aggressive driving.
Oh, 47 just lost it.
Contact!
Oh, he got the 73. They keep it straight. They keep it straight, but they're now they're
oh no! Oh, not a hard hit to the inside wall. PP Man 445, a clobbering hit into that safer barrier wall. Looks like there's.
Oh boy, what an accident!
Don't know if that was the product
of calamity there.
Caution's out.
Yep, caution's out.
Caution's out on the racetrack.
Yep, pace car is out, and the caution is out here as well. That was a hard hit for that 9 car. Just got a. I barely was able to see what happened. I believe lots of guys getting loose, lots of guys changing lanes, and the 9 car just got the short end of the stick and just absolutely clobbered that inside wall right there. He's gonna have a lot of front end damage on that Chevy Camaro number 9. But oh man, this has been a very exciting race, and this is this is really what you want to see. I mean, obviously you really don't want aggressive driving, but at the same time, you kind of want to spice it up. You want to see guys trying to take moves to go to the inside to make it 3 wide, trying to get positions here. It's so far it's been a very fun race.
34 laps to go as they cross the line this time by 22 leading the 12, and so far these 2 Unbound drivers have been running away with it. For the first time today, you're looking at the 88 for Unbound. He's finally made his way up there. That's Yang Buzz 14. So far Unbound has been pulling away with this one. However, with this aggression boiling over, anything's possible in the rest of stage 2.
Oh yeah, it's definitely
absolutely.
Yeah.
It's going to be right now. Top 6 is Unbound, so they're doing a great job here at the very start of this race. But then you got a couple of WSRL teammates there in the 11 and the 42 together. These guys going hard and all out, if you will. So far, you really just hope that these guys tighten up these race cars. I think that accident was just a byproduct of one guy getting way loose and being on the bottom, and guys 3 wide trying to fan and let him back in line and merge, and somebody thought they were clear and they weren't, and the poor 9 goes for a ride. But here we see some strategy. The 42 going to be the first one to come down. We've seen it. Anytime those pits open, guys, that 42 is the first to hit pit road. So he's definitely going to get the hard charger award. We're just going to have to see if it's going to be worth any critical stage points here after that Unbound domination of the first stage.
Yeah, so it looks like most of the field is staying out. It looks like those guys in the back are pitting. And, I personally, I think that's a very good idea if you are sitting, outside of the top 10. If you're not getting any points towards the stage, I feel like it is beneficial to go back into pit road, get those fresh tires, and, kind of put yourself on a slightly different strategy than the rest of the field, because, you really don't know what could happen. Rick James, what do you think about the strategy to come in now and get those fresh tires and and potentially make some adjustments to your car while most of the field isn't doing the same thing?
I think it's going to pay off dividends. I think a lot of these drivers that are staying out are gambling on the race going green, and so far it's not a safe bet. In the first stage, we had at least 3 cautions within the first 20 laps, and so far the trend continues. The bright lights of Miami are no excuse to put on a reckless show, and so far a lot of these drivers are doing anything but. The drivers pitting now are gambling on further cautions, and my prediction is that that gamble will pay off.
So here we
See,
go.
I'm thinking the opposite here, Rick. I'm thinking if you're staying out, you think there's going to be more cautions. You're going to play basically an alternating strategy. We've been seeing cautions every 3 to 4 laps. You stay out now, you pit next caution. If you pit this caution, you stay out next one. You're going to see this intermingle of track position, which is a myriad for the issues we're seeing on the racetrack. You're just getting an influx of guys on old tires, guys on new tires, aggression, and looseness that's all culminating together here into what we're seeing. Let's just hope these boys settle it out, because I like it when these guys get to go green for a while and set up some passes cleanly and respectfully.
Yeah, we have yet to see some green flag pit stops here, and I really do want to see a green flag run because I do want to see those green flag pit stops because, you know, the way that this tournament is set up, you have to take the access road coming into turn 3 under green if you want to pit to avoid unnecessary accidents. So I do want to see how that plays out. I do want to see how these guys are basically running on fumes, because it could create some potential good racing here, as looks like, I believe we're about to go green here with 31 to go. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe when they hit the stripe, it will be 31 to go. It's a pace car, pulls off here. Penske guys on the front row. Once again, it's been the theme for today so far. Green flag back in the air here at Homestead. The 22 of Hurricane Lane pulling out in front here on that high side, choosing the high lane here as they come into turn 1. The 12 car on the bottom here of his teammate, as they are 2 by 2 by 2 behind him. And that restart is very critical, especially to keep your track positions, because once those tires wear out, it's hard to make up ground. Here they come to turns 3 and 4 again, 2 by 2 behind. Long line of cars behind. We'll see how they kind of spread out amongst themselves once this run kind of gets going here.
Oh, the 11 caught the wall
So
with the 14. I don't know if that'll bring out a yellow. They keep it straight so far. We'll see, but just again, we're still seeing the same thing, same song and dance that we've been seeing, Dynamite.
They look to be clean and green right now. The 47 was one of the cars potentially involved in that incident, but they will stay green. Looks like no critical damage for any of those cars in the back. Here they come into turns 3 and 4, taking 29 laps to go here. The 22 of that Penske Ford is just pulling away right now, with the 12 of Racing Rock sitting just behind him. But that 10 car, he's also sitting there as well. It's been very fun to watch these guys go at it so far tonight.
30 to go as they cross the line, and so far you see the 22 car of Hurricane Lane breaking out to a gale force lead on the sunny sands of Miami. 22, 12, 10, 38 into the third corner, and so far your top 5 remains unbound. But look now, and you see the ocean blue 42 of Cowboy Nation coming up. That Credit One Camaro has been the perpetual thorn in Unbound's side. Here comes the 42 to the inside of the 88 to the inside of the 38. That's going to be for position. 42 giving the 88 just a little bit of a wave, and he's going to pick up the draft down the backstretch. 22, 12, 20 into the third corner as they round 3 and 4, guys. It looks like Unbound has finally broken out to a lead. It'll be 28 to go when they cross the line.
Yeah, as we're on board with the 12 car right now, just looking behind him at all the line of cars, as we see a lot of guys just trying to get position right now. As it looks like the 38 hit the apron. He's sliding up the racetrack. They're 3 wide behind the 12 car. The 88 on the bottom, the 10 on the top, the 38 in the middle. Is finally they shuffle back up. But watch out for that 42 car. He's on the fresher tires right now. He's already made his way back up to about 4th or 5th there. He dives to the bottom of the 38 as he slides up the racetrack. Here comes the 42 of that Chevy Camaro.
KD, that's Cowboy Nation in the 42 racing for Wild Sports. He has been the dynamo in tonight's race, and he has been the stuff of nightmares for Unbound. The 38, 88, and 10 cannot keep their smooth lines while the 42 is around, and he knows it. Cowboy is being the ghost, terrifying the life out of Unbound, and if he continues to have his way, 42 will be at the front. He is charging hard.
Yeah, that 42.
No doubt. He's come up from the middle of the pack. He has come from about 14th on the restart. I'm watching him, guys. He's able to roll the bottom better than anyone. Fresh tires or not, the 42 has probably the fastest car on the racetrack as he and the 38 get collected. Bounce off the outside wall. Everybody keeps going straight as one shoots to the inside, way in the back. Look like single car. We keep going, but now the 88 takes the spot from the 42. 42's probably got a little bit.
Oh, can't do that.
Contact.
Oh boy.
Oh, lots of blocking here. I think those Unbound guys know the 42's coming and are racing him a little hard as it looks like caution's out on the speedway.
Yep, caution is out here at Homestead Miami Speedway. Looks like we had an incident somewhere in the back of the pack. Didn't get word on it, but pace car is out, so we will slow down here. And while these guys slow down, we will also slow down as well. We're going to take a short break here under caution. We will be back in a short moment. Stay tuned. Welcome back here as we are under caution for whatever time it is. It's been a lot of cautions here so far, but with us in the booth right now is our commissioner, Mr. Slidja, with a points update on this race right now.
Yes, sir. So it appears, at least in the beginning of stage one, we have one team really shining and one that's got some work to do. Unbound leads with 51 points to WSRL's 4, so definitely not out of it yet, but a hill getting steeper to climb.
Thank you for that update, Slide Job. And yeah, that is a big hill to climb. We got one league just running away with it so far, and we saw that last night with the SXRL and the all-out racing league. The SXRL just ran away with it. I think I was in that race. And yeah, the SXRL, man, we were just sitting in a line and just going after it, and we just kind of started pulling away from everybody. Lots of good strategies, so we'll see how this one plays out. Obviously, it's going to be a tad bit different here than Charlotte, because we were in the SXRL, we were at Charlotte last night. This is obviously at Homestead, so it's going to be a little bit different. Not a lot of time for the other league to really catch back up here, as we're getting ready to go green, I believe, the next time around. We'll see what happens here, though. But so far, guys, it's been one heck of a race. Lots of guys getting loose. Probably should tighten up their cars, and race control has already given them warning that they need to tighten up their cars here. As no, the pace car is off. We're going green flag this time. So here they come into the restart zone. Green flag back in the air. The 22 pulling out in front here, just in front of the 12, but the 12 car is still sitting strong on the inside, fighting back with that 88 on the high side. 2 by 2, the 22 shuts the door on the 12 as those 3 cars, the 22, 12, and 88, already pulling out a little bit of a gap here as that 17 is trying to lead that second pack right now. They're already getting loose off turn 2. Looks like the 42 got loose. Here they come to turns 3 and 4. 3 wide behind the leaders right now. Lots of guys riding that high lane just up against the wall, right in the marbles right now as they are just, oh man, that is one big pack behind the leaders right now.
Coming through that first corner, again, you can see the 12 and the 22, those 2 Unbound drivers running away with it. It's the 88 of Yang Bubs now moving into second place. That 17 Fastenal Mustang for Big Daddy. He's racing for Wild Sports. He finally makes his way into fourth. In fifth, you have the 9 of P-Man. Rounding out that top 5 is P-Man, and that means 4 of the top 5 positions are Unbound. In position number 6, Cowboy Nation in the 42, Kenseth Credit 1 Camaro, creeping his way through the field, the class of the leaders during that last stint, and he's sliding up through that racetrack. The shine of the lights are down upon him, and he is making his way through this field 3 wide for 4th place. KD, it's getting dicey at the front.
Yeah, as we're on board here with the 17 of Big Daddy Pelpro, and he was charged his way up in the front as that 22 is pulling away right now, but we have a good, very good battle for second right now between the 88, 17, 12, 9, 42 sitting just behind, and these guys keep it up. That second pack, oh, contact! The 9 car puts the 17 into the 88 into the wall! The 9 car puts the 88 into the wall once again to come off turn 2. The 42 gets loose off the turn right there, and as these guys battle, right now, there is a large pack looming behind them as we could have a monster race here for just a second position as that 22 is really sitting in paradise right now. Bryce just, thinking about the beach here at Homestead, really just pulling away right now by himself. But, man, what a battle for second it is right now as the 17 looking low at the 12 car, has a nose there. The 12 shows that respect. Slides up the racetrack. 17 trying not to hit him. Oh, they almost touched right there. 17, a little bit of a bump draft down the back straightaway as they come into turn 3.
22 at the beach, getting away from the Sharks as these guys are just maniacally battling for P2. It seems to me that every time one of these guys gets out front, they get loose and bring the other 3 or 4 competitors behind them right back up, which is leading for a recipe and flirting with disaster. And it's everybody racing this hard. It's mostly Unbound guys, but they're racing each other just as hard as the WSLR guys. It's fun to watch, but how long can they walk the tightrope? They head down into 3 side by side yet again. The 12 trying to clear the 9. The 9 still there, and they're going to be side by side yet again down the front straightaway.
Dohar at 16 to go as they cross the line. The 22 breaking out to a grand lead, and so far Unbound having their way with the top 5. But the 42 of Cowboy Nation currently carrying the flag for WSRL. He's made the inside his playground all night. The 9 getting contact, getting down to the apron, down on the backstretch, 3 wide for position, and this has been Cowboy's game.
Oh, contact!
Sitting back. And while Unbound races each other, he continues to make his way through 3 wide and contact through the wall. The 88, the pinball between drivers, 10's in the wall. And
big right behind.
2, 3 cars involved.
Oh, the 11 car is upside down.
Once again at Homestead.
The
47's involved. The 13's involved. The 4's involved. 5, 6 cars in this one. Yellow flag once again waving over Homestead.
Oh, man.
But they're racing back to the line. We can't forget that. Rick, they're going to be racing back to the line. This is important because you want to be able to... Oh, and the 38 lags right in front of the 42. It doesn't look like that's happening on track in real life, at least. But it looks like the 22 obviously handily going to get the lead here before the pit stops. The 12 in P2, 17 in P3. Going to have the 38 P4, 42 P5. So 3 Unbound and 2 WSRL make up your top 5. The 9 of PP gonna be in P6 there, and then the 73 WSRL. So right now alternating between the 2 leagues. So good to see some parity here up at the front again.
Yeah, caution will wave here at Homestead Miami Speedway as we we'll back this one down here. But wow, that was probably the best. That's probably the best sequence of racing that we've had the whole night so far. We had lots of guys battling for that second place spot. The 17 really came out of nowhere of Big Daddy Pelpro. He came out of the woodwork and was just charging up there, trying to make a name for himself. He's sitting in a very good position right now. It's good to see, new guys getting up there as really, it's really been all Penske with that 22 and that 12 car really was kind of scooting away from everybody. But that last run, that 12 car looked a little slow right there. But man, Rick James, it has been one heck of a race so far, hasn't it?
That green flag run has been widely entertaining to watch, and at the front, it's the same story as Stage 1. The two Penske cars racing for Unbound have been pulling away, but in their shadow, slowly creeping up, is the 42 of Cowboy Nation. These pit stops here are going to shuffle the field quite a bit. Expect the 42 to come down pit road. Those 4 fresh Goodyear Eagles and race tank full of high-octane Sunoco fuel have been his bread and butter all night long. KD, I expect nothing but this Penske dominance at the front to continue, but I'd like to see a little more out of that 42.
Yeah, that 42, again, like how you said during the run, he's really carrying the flag for WSRL right now as they come down pit road here. But yeah, he's really the one carrying the flag, and he's looking like really the only consistently strong one for WSRL. It's just a matter if he can get his teammates on the same board with him. So they definitely have to do a lot of strategizing here to see how they can make themselves faster, as they are really stacking up here as they enter pit road. But yeah, that 42, I would like to see more of him as well. He did show some strong things early. Kind of fell back there due to some strategy and him pitting and all that sort of stuff. So he kind of fell back, but made his way back up. He's sitting here about third or fourth in pit road. So we'll see if he can get a decent position here, as he has a very he may have the first. Yeah, he does have the first pit stall up there. So I believe he was our pole sitter too. I believe that 42. As we shuffle through the field here, I believe he was our pole sitter, if I'm not mistaken.
He was.
He was, yeah. So, but as we exit pit road here, JRM, I have a question for you. Obviously, there are no rules in this league about using a wheel or controller. So, do you think that whether guys are using a wheel or controller, if that has a factor into how these guys are driving and how they are able to keep their car from getting too loose off the corners and all that stuff?
Absolutely, that's a great and somewhat loaded question. Myself, and I being a controller driver for the past 12 years or so, up until the last 4 months, once the Pro League went to an all-wheel mandate, had to make the shift. I noticed that my learning curve, it took me a while to get to the comfort level I was at a controller, but now that I've gotten some good quality reps, I'm able to easily maneuver the car when it does get that loose condition. It's a very difficult thing to do, though. But it's certainly a lot easier on the wheel once you're proficient at it than it would be when you're proficient on a controller. So I don't know how the field breakdown is, as they're going to go one more caution lap here. I don't know how the breakdown is between controller and wheel users, but judging by how loose most of these guys are getting off the corners, Dynamite, I'd expect most of these boys are on controllers.
Yeah, and myself being a controller driver for all NASCAR games dating back to around NASCAR 07, NASCAR 08. Yeah, I will say when that car gets loose, especially on the NASCAR heat games, especially on the NASCAR heat games, when your car gets loose with a controller, it's very hard to kind of keep your car stable, because just the way how the game works and all that stuff, and how you're moving your finger or your thumb, I should say, on the analog stick, it can get kind of twitchy, it can get kind of hard. You could kind of overcorrect at certain points, but with the wheel, you really have full control over your car, and that's something I hear about, or that's something I hear from wheel drivers, is that they have a lot more control over their car when the tires start to give out. And it's also easier to manage your tires as well. That's also something I've heard, is that it's definitely easier to manage your tires. And it looks like the 88 might be coming down pit road once again. I'm not sure if he pit the last time, but it looks like the 88 is on the access road right now as a pace car pulls off. So we'll keep an eye on the 88 right there. We'll see what's wrong with him. But in the meantime, green flag is back in the air. We're racing here at a homestead with under 10 laps to go as they come into turn 1. That 22, again, looking strong on the bottom, but not too strong, as that 77 is fighting back hard on the outside. Here comes the 17. He's looking on the outside as well. And that 12 car, again, looking strong on the bottom here as they come off of turn 2.
KD, so far it's Unbound that are gaining the advantage. That 17 car, although he doesn't race for Unbound, he has been making his way up here. Big Daddy Pell in the 17, and obviously the 42 of Cowboy Nation making their way. The 77 of Iceberg was a problem in that first stage, being a chicane in the middle of this lead pack. But so far, he gets into the wall and stays out of the way, but that is another position as he stays glued to the wall with another car behind him. A couple of cars making contact out of 2, and that's going to be it for Iceberg. And these cars continue to race on, diving down into that third corner, and you can see so far that 17 is beginning to make his presence known at the front.
Yeah, that 17 really came out of nowhere late here in stage 2. We saw a little bit of that in the last green flag run, so let's see if he can try to make a noise here along with the 42 for WSRL, as they are really hurting in the points department. Contact off turn 2, the 12 car gets into the 17.
What a save.
Somehow, Big Daddy Pelpro saves his car, but the 9 car looking on the inside of him.
Oh, he sends it back.
And then, the 17 says, you're going to do it to me, I'll do it to you. So.
Oh, and the 9 gets him.
Oh, man, they're jerking down the 42 leaving the inside wall.
12 wrecks the 42.
42's around on the front stretch, boys. Sorry to interrupt, but that's Cowboy Nation, arguably the fastest driver in the field. He has been clipped after that turn 4 contact, and the best driver for Wild Sports is now stone dead last on the track.
Oh, man, what a race this has been so far near the end of stage 2. As you see the end of the stage, really playing a factor. These guys are really driving hard, driving in the corners deep. That's a tough break for the 42, a guy that has been strong for most of the race, really been the flag carrier for WSRL, is now sitting dead last in the back of the pack, probably with some good amount of aero damage here. So now it's all up to the 17 to kind of carry that flag here.
19.
Oh, my God, they're crashing, slowing down for the flag.
Big wreck, yeah, as the caution was out here.
Under.
Looks like the caution's out here as they were slowing down, but lots of wrecking as they were just slowing down for the caution.
The 11 went over and over on his lid like he was on a top.
So caution is out here at Homestead once again as we near the end of stage 2. Not quite sure how many laps exactly we have to go, but it has been, oh man, this stage 2 has been way more exciting
to go this time.
Wait, how much?
3 to go this time by with the 22 and the 8, 2 drivers for Unbound sitting 1 and 2.
That's interesting because they shouldn't have brought out the caution, but maybe they didn't know the lap count.
Yeah.
And they brought out the yellow within 5 to go, and that would explain the absolute pandemonium at the back of the pack. Guys probably thinking, this is my chance to make up spots, and guys slowing down and meeting together in the middle. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. But, oh, man, now it's going to be really interesting with only you restart here. It's going to be what, a green to the checkered, I guess?
Yeah.
It depends on if they open pit road.
Yeah, exactly. If they don't open pit road here, then, well, we got to go green. But they're still single file, so I believe we could have a 1-lap shootout. Unless they're...
Or they could pace it out to the end.
Yeah,
they could say,
exactly.
You know what, we screwed up, and pace it out to the end. It'll be interesting to see. But it looks like the pits are open, and some guys are going to commit. If you're WSRL, this might be where you throw the Hail Mary.
Yeah.
If you don't have damage, stay out.
Exactly,
you got 1 lap to hold them off.
As we see the 22, he's been strong all day. He's coming to pit road, and I don't know if that's the right idea. I mean, he was pulling away from everybody who else was on old tires. So as we see a good number of cars coming down pit road here. But yeah, if you're the WSRL, I would think you would want to stay out here if we are going to be restarting here with 1 lap to go. So I don't know how...
KD, it's 3 to go this time by as the leaders cross the line. I'm betting that Unbound is gambling on not pitting during the stage break and taking most of the lead spots at the beginning of stage 3.
Yeah, that could be a good strategy, pitting now because you only have, they will be restarting here with 2 or 1 to go. We'll see how fast you guys get out of pit road here. But either way, it's probably that is a smart strategy. Try to pit here, get as many points as you can at the end of this stage, and set yourself up good for the beginning of stage 3. And you know what that does? That puts guys on somewhat different pit strategies here. So so that could be another factor as we near the end of this race. But here they come. The car's all catching back up here. Hopefully we can go green here with 2 to go and not have a 1-lap shootout, but have a green-white checkered.
I think we're going to get that restart with 1 to go. I do have an update from race control. We saw the 88 on pit road. He had to serve a pass-through that time by, so that explains that.
Yep.
But up at the front, you've got a myriad of strategies here. The 8 for Unbound, Memphis, he's going to stay out. The 6 of Outlaw Beast and the 73, they stay out. I think that's...
This is going to be very interesting finish to this one, as you got lots of new guys up there. You got
this could be a race of attrition to the finish. Let's see who gets through the accident. My prediction, but hopefully these guys prove us wrong.
This could be really just who doesn't wreck. Like, this is probably gonna come down to that. As you got the 6 of Outlawed Beast for WSRL. You got a lot of guys up there for WSRL. You got the 17 sitting there in 6th. You got the 73 for WSRL sitting in 4th. So you got lots of chances right here for WSRL to get some points here in this 1-lap shootout as we near the end of this stage. So, oh boy, this is gonna be a humdinger.
And Dynamite. If I'm the 42, if I'm a driver on the 42's team, I tell him right now, back off the pack, 15 seconds. Don't go here. Stay out on the stage break and regain your track position. You're too fast of a car to do that. But we'll get to the restart zone and see what they do.
Here they go. Green flag back in the air. 1 lap to go in stage 2. We'll see if this plays out. I'm really expecting a wreck right now as they come into turn 1, already going 3 wide just about as they come in the middle of 1 and 2. Look at the 80 on the bottom of the 24. Shoots him up the racetrack. Yeah. Oh, contact. The 24, the 17 get into it. The 88 to the bottom. Here they come to 3-4. The 8 car leading the pack. The 6 car on his behind. Here they come through turns 3 and 4. It looks like Unbound is going to get the stage win. The 6 car trying to fight. They're wrecking behind. And the 8 car for Unbound Racing of Memphis Phoenix 9 gets the stage win. The 6 car of Outlawed Beast for WSRL sitting behind them. The 24 of William Byron, that 24 car, he gets 3rd. So a little bit of a different lineup here to end the stage due to that late caution. So we'll see if WSRL maybe could have made up some points as we see the 17 sitting 5th right here. The 73 of WSRL sitting 6th. So that was a pretty decent showing to end that stage, don't you think? I just forgot your name. Oh boy.
Rick
James. I'm so much better with real life names, not gamer tags. But Rick James, do you think that was a better showing at the end of that stage right there for WSRL?
I think it was a fantastic showing for WSRL at the end of the stage, but at the front, Cowboy Nation back again, restarting on that outside with the green flag in the air. To his inside in the Pennzoil Shell Mustang is Hurricane Lane 22 in the 22. These two, the 22 and the 42, have been the fastest all night long. They break out to an early nose-to-tail single-file run with the 6 of Outlawed, and now down the backstretch, 42 is going to get a tow. He makes contact with that outside wall. 6 to his inside. WSRL to an advantageous start to the 3rd stage. Already contact and drivers losing composure early in.
Clean and green, the 17 keeps it on the apron. Very good job by the 17 to not come up in the field, because we've seen that before. We've seen guys get shot down onto the apron and then they just don't have any regard for human life and just come back up and just absolutely obliterate the field. Luckily, he stays
17
low.
received a pass-through.
Ah, okay, so the 17 received a pass-through, so that's what it was. So luckily, he got out of the way right there. It didn't affect
restart violation.
Anybody. It was a restart violation. So here they come. Through 3 and 4, the 42 on the bottom. The 6 car, first time we've really seen him up here for most of the day. He had a good stage finish. Oh, the 19! No, someone's right back there into the pit road wall. I saw it out of the corner of the screen.
Oh my
right there.
gosh.
I believe
Yeah.
it was the 19. I just saw him just dive down to the apron and slam the barrels. Right now, still green, no word from race control, so we will keep racing here. The 42 trying to fend off the 8 car here with the 6 car, his teammate sitting there beside him. The 22 car, again, pulling away from the pack. That 12 car, his teammate also sitting there. They really got all these cars squished in one pack right now. It's contact between the 8 and the 6 as they cross the stripe coming into turn 1. I believe the caution is out here. So whatever happened to that 19 must have brought out the caution. Didn't quite see what happened. I just saw him fly into the barrels, and I saw him just about flip. So we will slow things down here. But a little bit. Oh, we got a car wrecked by there too. The 88 just wrecked himself under caution. So yeah, it's been JRM. It's been a very interesting race so far. Very interesting race at stage 2. And going back to those guys that pit at the end of stage 2, do you think they pit now, or do you think we see those guys stay out?
Interesting to say the least, Dynamite. I don't know what you do here. This is where you get into that point where, again, I reiterate it, it's a race of attrition. You need to survive. Whatever you do, if you pit, you need to not wreck that race car. If you stay out, you need to not wreck that race car. I think right here, if you're the 42, the 22 who stayed out under that yellow from the stage break, you pit here. And maybe if you're a guy like let's see who would do it. I bet, excuse me, I bet the 38 might stay out here. Maybe the 13 stays out. The 11, some guys you might see them stay out here because they only ran about 3 or 4 laps. I think you see that intermix of strategy. You'll see some guys stay out here towards the back of the pack, but I expect the guys up at the front, the first at least 8 or so to pit here.
Okay, so Rick James, moving back to you now. You've been very fond of that 42 car. Is he your race pick? Is he your race pick to win this bad boy?
It's too early to tell, KD. The action on the track has made it apparent that anybody can get collected in any sort of contact at any time. He'll certainly be one of the fastest cars on the track, but he'll need to be one of the luckiest to stay up towards the front. So far, that 22 has been the car to beat, but Cowboy Nation in the 42 is one of the only drivers I can see beating him this evening.
Okay, and then moving back to JRM, is there anybody that stands out to you that could be your potential race pick here as we near the end of this one?
I really like that 6 car right now, Dynamite. I really like what he's showing me on the racetrack. He's had a pretty quiet race. He's not been as volatile going from the back to the front. He's just kind of been steady in the top 10, top 5. I think he's got a chance, but as we see some of these guys down pit road, not a lot of takers. So the 88, 47 leading that brigade for Unbound. You've also got the 4 of Wild Will, so a couple from each stable deciding to come down, put 4 field goods on it and tires. See if it pays dividends, but they haven't gone green long enough to show me any different. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, that 6 car definitely a silent killer right now, just sitting there quietly in 4th, just kind of doing his thing. He had a good end of stage 2, stayed out there after that late caution in stage 2 and ended up getting 2nd place. So really, yeah, there are lots of cars in this pack that have a very good chance to win this race. I'm really liking that 12 car of Racing Rocks 24. He's been strong for most of the day as well. I think his problem is that he tends to get caught back in traffic and then can't really make his way back up by the time those tires start to give. Because once those tires start to wear, it's hard to make up any ground. So it's definitely critical for him to get a good restart here because he has looked strong. He has been rolling with his Penske teammate, the 22, and he's sitting here just several spots behind there on the inside lane. So if he can get a good restart here and, stay in the draft of that 22, we could see, the 12 car enter victory lane here, but still lots of racing to go. Little over a dozen or 2 dozen laps to go here at Homestead Miami Speedway as we'll be looking to go green here as we see a little bit of a shuffle in the field here as the 73, he's been in the back for most of the day, but he is up here of the 73 Toyota of Haas Haas Bass, he's been sitting there. He's looking. We'll see if he can make something of this restart here. As it looks like the pace car will be pulling off. Yes, he will. So here we go. Everybody get your popcorn, get your drink, as we are about to go green here. Into the restart zone. Green flag back in the air. We're racing here at Homestead Miami Speedway. The 22. Oh, we have a wreck. Already have a wreck.
Oh, my
On the
gosh.
restart, the wrecking everywhere. Oh, the tank.
Somebody didn't go.
The tank car's
Somebody
involved.
didn't get the
14
memo.
involved. That 73 I was just talking about, he's involved, so he will go back to the rear. The 88 car involved. Everybody was wrecking. Did not want to see that one on the restart. I don't know if somebody didn't go. Somebody spun the tires. Don't know what happened.
KD, it was confusion on the restart between teammates, drivers not knowing when to go. You see the 42 of Cowboy Nation nearly being collected in a crash and pinballing between two other cars between him, and that's exactly what it was. Confusion, spun tires on the restart, and that's what caused that 10-car pileup. It's now 44 laps to go in this race, and so far it's going to be the 22 winning unless these drivers can make some green flag runs.
Oh boy, so yeah, a very wild restart right there. Lots of cars getting collected, and that one, lots of fast race cars, and that was just wild. I was just sitting there just viewing the 22, and all of a sudden I look back and everybody's wrecking, and I was like, oh no.
Commissioner Slide Job, you have a points update?
Yes, sir, I do.
There we go.
So,
That's it.
after we saw Unbound kind of run away with the first stage, it looked like WSRL wanted to try to really focus on getting more stage points that time, and they did. They got 25 that time. However, Unbound still maintained with 30, bringing our total to 81 to 29 in favor of Unbound.
Okay, so thank you for that update from our commissioner. And so WSRL did make up a little bit of ground there at the end of stage 2. So we saw those guys stand out somewhat, paying dividends for them. So we'll see how that pays off. They have to. They basically. This is it. This is the last stage. This is where they have to put all their marbles in the bucket and really go after it here, as we have 43 laps to go here. Still lots of racing left. I believe we've probably, if they go green the rest of the way, we could have, I believe, probably about 2 more pit stops, maybe 3, but I'm guessing around 2. Not exactly not quite sure what the exact fuel run is. And we see those cars coming into pit road, the 22, 42, 6, 9, 12, 24, 88, 77 along in that pack. We got a couple guys staying out here. Looks like the 11 and the 17 are 2 guys that stay out here. Interesting move right there from the 11 and the 17.
17 getting the free pass
Okay,
there,
that's
kid.
what it is.
He had to serve a pass-through penalty
Ah, that's
on
right,
that
that's
last
right, yep.
restart. We didn't get to catch up with
Yep,
that
you're right.
because he was serving a pass-through for a restart violation in the Stage 2 ending restart. So he goes around, grabs his lap back. He'll come to pit road, but that leaves Jay Grant in the 11 for WSRL as the Lone Ranger to stay out here. I predicted it. And after that calamity, I kind of expected it. Everybody else had been on pit road. I think the 11 came on pit road under that caution before the massive calamity, hopefully without any damage. He just goes out there and basically gains a bunch of free track position at the end of the day.
Yeah, and you have to wonder if WSRL, if they're communicating on who's staying out, who's going to pit road, or if they're just kind of just freelancing it. And the 11 car of Jake was like, you know what, screw it, I'm going to stay out. So we'll see. Yeah, kind of interesting that he's the lone man out here. It couldn't really be beneficial, as most of those cars behind him are on, or all of them are on fresh tires here. You got the 38 sitting right there on the inside from Unbound Racing, along with the 22 of Hurricane Lane, but the 42, another WSRL member, he's sitting there in 4, so he does have some teammates near him, that being the 11 car of Jay Grant. The 6 car also sitting there in 6. So most of the top lane right now is WSRL. So we'll see if they can kind of coordinate here, get a good restart, get that push going. and try to shoot out that 11 to a hefty lead. But we'll see. So here we go as we enter. I believe we have about 41 laps to go, 41, 40, somewhere around that area. But right now, I'm Rick James. I'm really pinpointing my eye on that 11 car to see how he fares out here, being the only car staying out.
KD, the 11, has two teammates behind him in the 42 in Cowboy Nation and the number 6 behind him. So that's 3 cars on the outside lining up for WSRL. On the inside, by contrast, you have the 38, 22, and the 9. Those 3 cars lining up for Unbound. So it's going to be a battle of the inside versus the outside, and truly it's going to be who gets the best restart. You see the 38 peeling off,
back.
So now you have 22, 9, 24 on the inside for Unbound, and
we
are 24, and
no.
there's big contact. This has to waive the restart, certainly.
Oh,
and
what happened?
Big contact in the back here, as it looks like the 42 just spun his tires or something, and he ended up wrecking, collected his teammate. Friendly fire from the 42 are there, not what you wanted to see. Hopefully there's not too much damage to those race cars. Don't know if they will give their spots back or if they will make them sit in the back. I would assume that race control would have them sit in the back based on what we've seen from prior events in this tournament so far, as that was strictly just operator error right there on the 42. At least it seemed like it. Didn't see any contact from anybody else. It just seemed like maybe he just happened to spin the tires, but I believe we might still be going green here unless they
went that lap. They went that lap and then brought out the yellow, so now they're going to catch up to the pace car. Shout out to NNR Trip. He's led the most laps tonight, and single-handedly. He's done a fantastic job. He's made many a trips down the front straightaway, and he's probably got many more in his future. But as these guys, I was just about to say before that restart, if I had a chance to chime in, the 42 has been really struggling on restarts, guys. A lot of wheel spin out of that car, and it finally just culminated into a worst-case scenario for WSRL, collecting their top 2 workhorses, the 6 and 42. Now they're going to have to work their way from the back of the pack once again.
Yeah, definitely not a good turn of events there for WSRL. The 2 guys that looked strong for most of the day are now sitting in the back with damage, having to go down pit road here. And this really now puts that 11 car of Jay Grant, he really just makes him a sitting duck now. Now he has no teammates to defend him, as he's sitting there, a lone duck in first place. So we'll see how he goes about this restart here, as he doesn't have any teammates near him whatsoever. So I believe the nearest teammate he has, I believe it might be, I can't even tell. I can't even tell who was nearest.
KD, not only does the 11 not have teammates behind him, he's got the 22 of Hurricane Lane and the 12 of Racing Rocks behind them. These 2 have been up front, and they have been the blockers for Unbound. Not to say that they've been blocking the rest of the field, but they have just put a masterclass on anybody that dares to take top spot. The 11's going to have to get up on that wheel in a very fashionable way if he intends on maintaining this Miami lead.
Yeah, that 11 car is going to have to be the wheel man here. He's really going to have to take that Toyota machine and really drive the heck out of that thing, as he's the lone survivor right now up there for WSRL. His teammate, I believe his nearest teammate, sitting there in 9th or 10th, so he's going to have to do a lot of defensive driving here to somewhat, keep a decent position here before those tires start to wear out, because again, like how you said, he's on old tires, so this is not the best situation for him due to just some wheel spin from the 42. We've been seeing it all day, and finally it just gave out on him, and it ended up being the worst case scenario. Something you don't want to see if you're the WSRL, as you're down, I believe 81 to 29. I believe is what our score break was from our commissioner. So in times like these, every point counts. So we will keep an eye on the 42, see if he can maybe charge his way back up. But for right now, it's all Unbound in that top 10 with the lone 11 car for WSRL leading the pack here. He picks the outside lane as that's really been the popular choice all day for whoever the lead car is picking that outside lane. Gets you a good arc going into turn 1. It really helps you carry that momentum coming off of turn 2. So here we go. Coming to the green flag here.
I think they're going to do one more here, KD. What they're going to do is they had a little bit of miscommunication. I was watching towards the back of the pack, just seeing what these guys would do. Back half of the pack pitted on the first lap, but they didn't double up. Pits were inadvertently open there, and a couple other additional takers came down that pass time by. Saw the 11 and the 13 come down. The 47, who had just come off a pit road, decided to come down back again, which makes me lead to believe that there might be some fuel strategy at play. Not sure how in the world that could happen when you're running all these laps under caution, but hey, anything's possible, and every extra lap you get on fuel and tires could mean the difference between staying out here or staying out later. Maybe getting the track position that way, but either way, the pace car continues to rack up the lap count, and he'll get ready to pull off this time, and we'll watch these boys again and see how far they fly.
Yeah, as we touch back on fuel strategy, or as I should say, as we touch back on the aspect of having a wheel and controller, some of these guys with the wheel have their own shifter, meaning they could go into neutral to save fuel. That's obviously been a popular part of having a wheel, is that you do have the shifter for the most part. You do, so we'll see if it's interesting to see if some of these guys with the wheel are going in neutral here, because they have the shifter, unlike the controller guys. But here we go, pace car is off. About to take the green flag here. Green flag backing here. The 42 coming down pit road once again in the back of your screen right there. So just a bad turn of events for the 42 as they come into turns 1 and 2. The 11 car pulling away from that 22. The 9 car sitting just behind that Penske Ford of the Double Deuce. And the 12 car sitting behind him, all in the train down the back straightaway behind the 11.
11, 22, 9, 12 into the fourth corner. 34 laps to go. This time
big wreck!
Contact, 9's in the wall. Everybody's being collected.
The 10 car
34
upside
to go
down
as they cross the line. They're going to race it back around one more time, and the hits keep on coming. The Vice City action doesn't stop, and it's a fight at the front between the 12 and the 11 for second place, and it's going to be a Penske 1-2 as they come to the line. That's the 42 of Cowboy Nation. More troubles for WSRL, KD, and unless the miraculous miracle happens at Miami, this one is almost over.
Yeah, the snowball is really rolling downhill right now for WSRL, as they're probably the strongest man of the day, the 42. Sitting a lap down, I believe he'll get the lucky dog here, or the free pass, I should say. So I believe he will be back on the lead lap, but still just not where you will want to be here, as we enter 33 laps to go. As I'm not quite sure what happened in the back, so I just saw a car spinning. And because we saw that 11 car slide up the racetrack, he kind of hit the wall, came back down, I believe in the 9, and maybe chopped his nose off, got him loose, and then it was just calamity from there. So here we go, under caution here. Once again, it's been a caution-filled race. Kind of what we expected, though, JRM, as we were talking pre-race about how dynamic this track is compared to the other mile and a halves on the schedule for the mile and a half round in the Fast Family Racing League, or tourney, I should say. So as we enter 32 laps to go, Jerem, what do you expect here as far as pitting goes? Because we saw, we've had lots of quick cautions. Do we see guys stay out here, or do we see most of these guys come in and take those 4 Mr. Feelgoods and 2 cans of fuel?
I think for most of these guys with such a big accident, you're going to see just about everybody come down pit road. Looked like it was a chain reaction again. The 11 hitting the wall coming down. The 9 was there. And then right at that same moment, the 88, something happened to him because he was in the cluster right behind those two, and he spun around almost as if he just lost a tire, spun around in front of 5 or 6 competitors. But as pits open this time, Much to my chagrin, the top guys are going to stay out. The 11's going to lead the train onto pit road, followed by everyone else behind them. So about your top 8 stay out here. 42, of course, going to get the free pass this time by. He'll probably come down pit road, get some tires and fuel, maybe set himself up to regain that lost ground. But really curious move. I really think that these guys all should have pitted if they're at the front. But who am I to tell them what to do, my friend? We'll just see what happens.
Yeah, I think it's definitely beneficial to, or I shouldn't say beneficial, but I believe, it wouldn't be too bad of an idea to be up there and pit because, like you said, there's a huge wreck. So lots of guys are going to have to be pitting for damage, meaning that you really may not lose that many spots in pit road here due to a lot of people having to stay in there for a longer time due to having damage. So, but nonetheless, those guys stay out. Lots of guys stay out here. But as we look through the field here, Rick James, you see that 73. He's sitting there in 5th. He's been having a quiet day. Hasn't really been up in the front. Do you expect any kind of wild thing to happen here with that 73 car? Do you think we see any speed from him when we take the green flag?
KD, that 73 has been up in the top 10 for most of tonight's race, but hasn't made enough noise to make a valiant challenge for first. His Spartan-like resilience in the top 5 will certainly turn some heads, but he'll need to pull something special out of the bag if he wants to be there at the end. Expect more of the Penske show up front from the 12 and the 22. These two have been running away with the race all night long, and I expect nothing but the same. We're going to have less than 30 to go when we take this green flag. It's going to be wild.
Yeah, so here we go. Pace car still on the track here, but as we shuffle through the field here, lots of new faces up there in the front. But as we go through the back, there's a lot of guys we haven't really seen up there, like the 77 of Richard Iceberg. We haven't really seen much of him. He's been kind of struggling. 13 of Shadow, 13-23. We have not seen any of him up there in the front whatsoever. We still go through the field here. The 4 of Wild Will C99, actually the league owner for one of the leagues. I forgot which one exactly, but he is one of the league owners. He hasn't really been up there as much. The 10 car hasn't been up there a lot either. It's been mostly Penske all day, but the 42, he's catching back up here. Got the free pass. He will look to catch the field, and maybe that 42 can potentially catch back up as we are going green here at Homestead, Miami. The 42 didn't catch all the way back up. Don't know what happened there, but nonetheless, we're going green. Here comes the 22 on the bottom, the 12 car on his rear. They are really juking and jiving back there to 73 on the bottom. We were talking about him just moments ago. The 17, though, for WSRL, Big Daddy, he's sitting in 3rd right now, sitting in the catbird seat. He's really going to be the lone man having to carry this flag for the WSRL with the 42 being all the way in the back of the pack. But the 6 car also for WSRL sitting there strong just as well. Here they come to turns 1 and 2. The 12 car on the bottom of the 17 taking the advantage. The 22 really just scooting away right now. This battle between the 12 and the 17 is really just going to allow this double deuce to scoot away now as there's contact in the back.
22, 17, 12 down into the 3rd corner. Dohar, that 12 is trying to make a lot of trouble for the 17, but so far the 17 has taken over duties as the standard bearer for WSRL. Big Daddy has come to make noise, and he's now to the inside of the 22 for the first time tonight. Your new leader is car 17, but here comes Raging Rocks in the Jack Links Mustang to the inside of the Shell Pennzoil Mustang. 2x2 Penske cars with the 9 blank Hendrick behind them. 17, 22, 12, your top 3 into the 3rd corner, Dohar.
As they head down through 3 and 4, they start to fan out once again. The 6 car of Outlaw B is going to try to take to the outside, link up with the 17 as the 22 goes for the lead. They're beating, they're banging, they're bashing. Right behind them, they're bashing. The 9 and the 12 start to go at it. Those are teammates. They're still going at it. Now the 22 sends it in. The 17 harder still. On the outside, it's going to break a little loose. Not able to get to the outside quarter panel. 22 moves clear and back to the lead. Now he moves down, and the 17 goes right to him. As they head down side by side once again. The 6 shoving the absolute mayhem out of the 12 as they head to 3 and 4. Jockeying for position at the front. We're starting to see some good side-by-side battle. How long can they keep it up, kid?
Yeah, here they come across the stripe into turns 1 and 2. The 17 looking strong on the outside right now. He's been looking strong since near the end of stage 1. He started kind of make a name for himself, and look at him. He's up there. Nightcar, Nightcar getting a little loose down there. Saves it. We stay green as they come into turns 3 and 4, but the 17 and 22 just side by side. They've been like this for 2 or 3 laps right now. As the 17 a little bit in the wall.
Oh, no.
Comes down in the 12. It's not what you want to see. They're almost 4 wide behind the 22 as they come into turns 1 and 2.
KD, the 22 breaking out to a lead. The 6 car now in second. Roush teammate, the 17, to his inside in third. 3 wide for second place. 24 laps to go this time by. 22, 6, 12. Contact between the 17 and the 12. They still go steady down the backstretch at the front. New leader, car number 6 for WSRL. Outlawed Beast in the Cook Mustang, now ahead of the 22, ahead of the 12. 6 goes high, getting loose, and it's a drag race for the lead. KD, 23 to go, and it's only getting hotter.
Yes, 23 laps to go as they hit the stripe right there in the 6 car. Coming out of nowhere on the outside, grabs the lead, but the 22 fighting back on the bottom with his 22 teammates. The 73 gets loose in the back, and I believe there might be a wreck. Not quite sure. No, they're perfectly fine.
Crash. 88 went around. 88 went around. I don't know anybody else. We'll see if they let them keep going.
So the 88 is apparently around
They're
in the back.
bringing out a
yellow. Yeah,
yellow.
the 73 is around back there. He's in the wall. So I believe this might be the race back. As again, another caution will wave, I believe, here as they hit 22 laps to go. And yes, they're slowing down, so caution will wave. Pace car is out. 22, your leader, once again, the 12 car, just behind him, as that's really, again, the theme of the day. The 2 Penske guys, the double deuce boys, just really just dominating this race as the 6 car sits there in third. But JRM, it's been one heck of a race. Do you see anybody in the pack that wasn't strong before but is looking strong right now as we near the end of this one?
Not really in that respect, but I did want to give a shout out to one guy who was catching these boys rather quick. That's the 42 at Cowboy Nation. We've talked about it. He restarted about a full turn behind these boys by the time they went green. He ran them down to being on the same straightaway. He was about to catch the back of the pack. These guys were racing so hard, and the pack was still together. It's just an unfortunate situation and circumstance of events because these boys were starting to really get some good rhythm and rhyme there, and that caution for a 1-car incident just takes the wind out of the sails here, and I fully expect the gongs to be out and the show to begin, as these boys will be jockeying for every position they can with no more pit stops required after they see pit road this time. It'll be interesting to see. I really hope these boys can keep it clean, but man, it's been a struggle to do so now. So let's see what these boys got within them.
Yeah, if they can stay green for these last 20 laps here or so, as we have right now, we have 21 laps to go, but if they can keep it green for the rest of the race, it will be very interesting to see how this field plays out, how we see the guys drive on older tires. And oh boy, Rick James, do you think you see anybody from WSRL potentially take 2 here to try to gain any track position under this caution?
KD, they're coming now to the line with 21 laps to go. Each of these stock cars holds a capacity of 20 laps of high-octane Sunoco racing fuel. you can bet your bottom dollar that one of these drivers are going to attempt to make it the whole way. One wrench in that plan is the aggression. My favorite A word in racing. The aggression has already taken over this race, and the frustration and the impatience has manifested into crashes. Expect at least 3 more cautions before the checkered flag flies, thus rendering any pit strategy obsolete.
Yeah, I personally myself, I don't see this thing going green to the end. I would like to see it go green to the end, but with just how hard these guys have been racing, even early in the race, when when guys could take their time and really figure out their car, we still saw guys going at it, and now we're near the end of the race. As we're gonna, I believe they'll hit 20 to go at the stripe here when they come back around, I believe. And as we enter under that 20 to go mark, it can get really dicey. And as I like to say in real life, when you hit 20 to go, that's when stuff starts getting stupid. That's when that's when you got guys making desperation moves to try to make any sort of ground. And guys, you already know guys are impatient. They've been sitting all night. They probably got some butt sweat from sitting in their seat for so long. Probably cranky, probably hungry, tired, everything. They probably need to use the bathroom. And so you already know guys just want to try to come out here with the best possible finish here, as I believe they will hit 20 to go at the stripe here, so right under that threshold. And if they can make it green the whole way, then oh boy, watch out for these old tires, especially for the guys that we've seen in the back, start to kind of get loose, even 5 to 8 laps to go, or 5 to 8 laps into the run. But right now, that 6 car, JRM, he's kind of came out of nowhere here, and he's sitting there in third. Do you think he has anything to compete with for this 22 and 12 car?
I certainly think he does, kid, but the problem is I think his car is better over the long haul than the 2 Penske Fords in front of him. The problem is he's not seeing enough laps to make that speed and comfort come to fruition. So right now, what that 6 needs, he needs this thing to go green to the end. I think he becomes the winner because the 2 cars in front of him, after about 4 or 5 laps, we start to see him get all loosey-goosey. If the 6 can start with good track position like he has now, and we get some green flag laps, and I bet even 10 laps, and you see that 6 power to the front.
So here we go, pace cars off. Looks like that 11 car is catching back up to the field here, as we will enter 19 laps to go. Green flag back in the air. We're racing here at Homestead. As they come into turns 1 and 2, the 22, of course, leading the pack, and the 12 car rolling right behind him. That 6 car puts a nose in there on the bottom, shoved the 12 up the racetrack. 12 car door slams them back side by side down the back straightaway. Here comes 17. They're going to be 3 wide going into turns 3 and 4. What a battle this has already turned out into. Look at that 10 car up on the outside, kind of scrapes the wall. Still somewhat of a threat, but meanwhile, that 22 car is scooting away from the pack. The 9 car flies to the bottom.
Oh, the 9.
Does he save it? I believe he does. I believe we will keep it green here, as we have about 17 or 18 laps to go as they come off turn 2. Oh, we got a car loose. The 4 car saves it. But they're juking and jiving right now as they come to turns 3 and 4.
KD,
12
it's going to
got
be
loose.
16 to go.
Oh.
Sorry about that, Dohar. It's going to be 16 to go this time by.
So, all right, 16 to go this time by, as the 12 car on the bottom right there. But again, the 22 car just scooting away. They're all battling, but that 22 car is just pulling away from the Sharks right now. But meanwhile, it's a very intense race for second. WSRL doing all they can, just reaching for any type of points that they can get to somewhat make this a battle or a close finish here in terms of team points as they enter 3 and 4, 2 by 2 by 2. It's just a huge train right now, and I think they need to get in a line right now. If they want to catch that 22, they have got to get in a line and get this thing going.
KD, so far there's no competition for Hurricane Lane 22 as he crosses his line this time by. It's now 15 laps remaining in this race, 3 and 4 wide, and the shuffleboard starts to play coming out of the second corner, and so far it's no challenge for Hurricane Lane. The only difference that can be made will be tire wear. The sun starts to set on the Homestead Miami Speedway in race 16 of the Showdown, and so far it's Shell Pennzoil Mustang dominating the night.
Here comes that 38 car. He's coming in there on the outside. He kind of came out of nowhere right there, so he's trying to make a name for himself. It's Big Spur 14. He's the league owner of Unbound. His contact with the hey, that 42. He's coming back up there. We've been talking about him all day, and after having a little bit of some pass-throughs, he's back up there, I believe, fighting for a lead lap spot. So he's sitting there on the bottom of the 6 car, as he was that kind of flag carrier for the WSRL. For most of the race, he's back up there. So can he run down that 22 JRM of Racing Lane?
Well, he's got some track position. He just needs some green flag laps to do so. And right now, the way they're wrecking, it's the 6 gets sent by the 12. It was only a matter of time. The 4 wrecks as well. Man, I'm just watching these guys just block and defend with their quarter panels. And as a driver, it boils my blood, because that's that's taken out of the guys behind your hands when you race like that, and it's on everyone. It's not just a couple. So I really hope that these guys will rethink that strategy of racing like that. These guys are capable of going side by side and racing really well. It's just once you get to the quarter panel slapping off turn, you got a loose car. You got to think of your competition, and you can't just steer into them to save your car. Personal thing that always just gets under my skin. So,
yeah, definitely don't want to see guys taking unnecessary moves, causing unnecessary wrecks, as we saw right there. But as we enter 12 laps ago, coming to 11, I believe, you're probably gonna see more of those type of desperation moves, especially from guys in the WSRL, guys who are that league who's down by a bunch of points. Right now, you already know that they're going to make some desperation type of move, strategy, whatever you want to call it, to try to make up the ground that they lost in Stage 1. It's really all about Stage 1. If you don't get out to a good Stage 1 start, it's definitely hard to make up that ground coming to Stage 2 and 3. So, here we go here. Rick James, do you think we have any people who will stay out here from both sides? It really doesn't have to be the WSRO, but do you think we see some strategy here, potentially maybe from the 22 to say, hey, I've been fast all day? Do you think we see him, stay out here and try to keep that track position in first?
Well, I can tell you that there's no more competition for the 22. At least that's what it looks like as we're coming down near to 10 laps to go. The 17 of Big Daddy Cell Pro has become our second retiree of the race. He joins his WSRL teammate, the 00 of Chase Dreamer, and now WSRL down to the remaining 8 drivers. And so far in this third stage, KD, the best competition for the 22 has been the 17. Now it's up to Cowboy Nation. He is that 42 Credit 1 Camaro, third in line behind the 38 of Big Spur and the 22 of Hurricane Lane. It's going to be a thrilling dash to the finish. These Miami lights could not shine brighter on more talented stars, and I am waiting to see what kind of fireworks blow up right in front of our eyes.
Yeah, that 42 is going to be a critical pit stop right here for him. He's got to hope that his pit crew does it well here, gets him a fast pit stop. He does have the first pit stall right in front of that 22, and this is the money stop right here. This is what you pay. This is what you pay the crew the big bucks for. As it looks like we may have seen some guys take 2, possibly that 77, I believe. He comes out of pit road first. Wow. So the 70...
Katie, that's a dangerous move.
Yeah.
That 77 has come out in first once again before this race. 2 times tonight, that 77 has been at the head of the field, and he has just slid back with great magnitude. This could either be the clinching move for Unbound, or it could be the start of the next caution. Either way, Katie, grab your popcorn and get a comfy chair. It's going to be wild.
Yeah, so the 77, this could be the move that you look back on and say, hey, this possibly could be a winning move right here, or you could look at this move and be like, why did you do that? So we'll see. I believe we're coming back here with 10 laps to go. Correct me if I'm wrong, but either way, it's getting dicey. It's getting late. Time is running out for WSRL, and right now they are sitting in first place with that 77 right now, as it looks like we will go around another time. But oh boy, JRM, what do you expect to see here as we hit 10 laps to go here in this third and final stage of this race?
I really want to look through my handy-dandy thesaurus and see if there's a word that embodies pandemonium 6 times over. As we'll get a restart here with 8 to go.
8 to go. Okay.
Absolute pandemonium is going to set in. Desperation is going to set in. If you're WSRL, you need every point you can get with 2 dogs out of the fight. If you're Unbound, you just need to manage. And that's why I struggle and I'm shaking and I'm kind of scratching my head with the 77's call here to take 2, because he's surrounded by his own teammates. If he messes up or slows down, he's going to affect his own team. So we'll see what happens as they get ready to restart. 8 laps to go. It's going to be 8 laps of who knows, but we'll see what happens when they rock them and roll them.
Yeah, that 77, I'm worried that he's going to slide up and hit that 42, sitting 4th right there, because that's his teammate. Those are teammates, so...
But we got to see a restart from the 42.
Yeah, here we go. Green flag back in the air. 8 laps to go. They hit the stripe. The 77 gets a big shove from the 38, but the 38 looking low here into turns 1 and 2. Puts the 77 up the razor. Here comes the 22 on the bottom now. Great move from the 38 to bump the 77 out of the way. Opens the door for that fast double deuce as the 77 hits the wall. But here comes that 42. Here comes the 42. He's looking on the outside now. Makes a little bit of contact with the 77 here as they come into turns 3 and 4. Oh boy, this is getting really dicey here as they come off turn 4, hitting
4 wide.
7 laps to go, 4 wide behind the leaders as they hit the stripe. Here they come into turns 1 and 2.
22, 42, 77 at the stripe. Hurricane Lane leading Cowboy Nation. And so far, these two have pulled away. 42 now to the inside of the 22. He's going to try and make a move for first. Not going to have the steam. He's going to take one more look to the inside of the 22. He gets the nose under the quarter panel. 42 to the inside. Hurricane Lane now up against it on the outside. Out of the 4th corner to the line. For the first time, it's going to be the 42 leading this race. Cowboy Nation now up ahead of Hurricane Lane. 6 laps to go. Lane sends it, but he's going to scoot up the track. 42 back to the inside. 12 joining this and making way to 3-way fight for the lead. Dohar, 22's got the run, headed into 3.
Here they come.
Yeah, that 22 has a full head of steam as he heads down the back straightaway into 3, and now is going to have the buddy system with him. He'll have the 12 as they have broken away from the rest of the pack. The 77 on those 2 tires being the barrier from the rest of the field. 3-car battle at the front, 22 and 12. Got to get by the 42, though, as they head through 1 and 2.
Yeah, they just hit 5 laps to go, meaning no more caution. So this is it. If you wreck, you wreck. No more yellows can be put out now. It's like
they're about
3 and 4. Yeah, and yet they're about to wreck after the caution cutoff. Not what you want to see. If you're the WSRL, you do not want to wreck here as they come off turn 4. They hit 4 laps to go. It's Penske. It's Penske versus the 42 right now. They are doing everything they can to keep that 42 at bay, but that 42, man, he has something under his hood. He is fighting back on that high side, doing everything he can. It might be best for him, though, Rick James, to kind of just sit there behind these 2 cars, kind of regroup here, because you definitely do not want to wreck yourself and lose the draft of the 22 and the 12.
3.5 laps to go. 22, 12, 42 into 3 out of 4. 22 leading. 12, 42 with a drag race.
Oh, wreck in the
Trying to
back.
wiggle and weave.
Oh, big
There's
wreck.
a crash
The
out of the
88
fourth
whacked
corner.
the wall,
Caution
and
will
the
not
88
come out.
whacked it
22
back into the
leading
field.
the 12, leading the 42 into the first corner, side by side for second. Penske's at the front. CGR in third. Cowboy trying everything he can, but at the front, KD, it's Hurricane Lane.
Yeah, Hurricane Lane, that 22 is pulling away with that 12 car. That 42 has to hit his marks. They come off turn 4 to hit 2 laps to go. All this battling is allowing some of those cars behind to catch up. You see that 38, he's looking there. He's trying to see if he can maybe get a draft here. The 42 dives it into turns 1 and 2 below the 12. He's sitting there on the bottom, right on that white line as they come off turn 2. Let's see what happens here. Side by side, it's the 42 and the 12. The 12 is going to have to block here and try to find someone to keep that 42 away from the 22. Here they come. Off of turn 4 to take the white flag. All bets are off. White flag in the air. Here we go. The bell is ringing down the front straightaway into turns 1 and 2. The 38 looming right here, side by side. The 12 and the 42. Can the 42 get a run on the outside? This is his last chance to get some momentum down the back straightaway to set up a potential dive bomb in 3 and 4. You see him
Couldn't
on the
get
bumper.
the power down.
Yeah, here they come. 3 and 4 for the final time. The checker flag in the air. It looks like it's going to be the double deuce of the 22. Here they come. Off of turn 4, it will be the 22. No chance for the 42. Penske gets the 1-2 here at Homestead Motor Speedway. What
Hurricane
a
Lane
race.
in the Pennzoil Shell Mustang, beating his Penske teammate and Unbound teammate in the number 20, in the number 12. Jack Link's Mustang Racing rocks. Coming first for Wild Sports is going to be the 42 of Cowboy Nation. Mustang, Camaro, your top 3 at the end of this one.
What a race this was, JRM. What did you think of that race that we just watched? That was one heck of a race.
Oh, it was something. I'm glad it came down to a finish between 3 of the fastest cars of the night, but we finally got to see that battle between the 42, the 22, and the 12. Those guys able to hold off on that short run. I saw them getting loose, but it just wasn't long enough for that 42 to take advantage of what I felt was the faster car on the long run. Congratulations to the 22. Big victory there for those guys, and Unbound coming away with a very strong finish to cap off this victory, and we will wait anxiously for the points to be tabulated, and we will then know how they end up being seeded.
So that is the end of tonight's race, but the broadcast is not over. We will have post-race interviews coming in just a moment, so racing fans, please stay tuned. Do not go away, as we will hear from multiple drivers, the top 3 finishers from both teams, and also the league owners as well. So again, stay tuned. Do not move away from your computer, tablet, iPhone, whatever you want to call it. We'll be back in a short break. All right. Welcome back, racing fans, for the post-race interviews for today's showdown between the Unbound Cup Series and the Wild Sports Racing League. I'm joined here with all the top 3 finishers from both respective leagues, but first we will start off with Haspas. So, man, just walk us through that whole race. Just tell us what your strategy was and how you were trying to go about your race along with your respective league.
Well, first off, I'm just really happy to be racing, and I'm really grateful that I was able to hold on to my car. And for the most part, getting into pit road was really challenging, getting down on that apron. First time I ever got to use that type of pit method. And it was just crazy out there all night, man. That's a really challenging track. People get loose off the corners. It's hard to hang on to your car sometimes. You come down, you got 3-wide racing happening, all over the place. It's a challenging track. It was exciting. It was scary sometimes, but it was fun. All in all,
Yeah.
I had a great time.
Yeah, very, very good race. We saw you up there in moments during the race, trying to prove yourself, and it was fun to watch you out there. So good job today, man. Wish you the best of luck in whatever future endeavors you have in racing, and hopefully we'll see you sometime soon.
Oh, absolutely. I'll be out there, man. I appreciate your appreciation. Have a great night.
Yes, you too. Thank you, man. Have a good one. All right, Slide Jab. Who do we have next now on the board?
All right, next on the list, I believe, is Big Spur from Unbound.
Big Spur.
Yes, sir.
Hey, man. I saw you. You were trying to prove yourself up there too as well. There were times where you were running strong up there. I saw you kind of get collected back in some traffic as well. But just kind of walk us through what your strategy was and how are you able to kind of tame your car once the tires kind of gave out, because you were kind of one of the few people that seemed to kind of have your car under control when the tires started to wear.
Yeah, I think I stayed pretty stable throughout a whole run. When we did get to a whole run, just had a fast front row. Ford did a good job. Had some connection issues throughout, but came back up and got 4th place. Pretty good night.
Yeah, I did see you kind of lagging a bit. Luckily, you didn't lag out, so that's definitely good that you were able to stay in the race. And your whole team looks strong. You look strong, so that was definitely a very good showing for the Unbound Cup Series. So great job, man. Good race for you, and again, wish you the best of luck, and hopefully we see you in the next round.
Thank you, and all respect to WSRL.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next is Cowboy Nation from WSRL, the top driver for them.
All right, JRM.
Hey, what's going on, man?
JRM, I'll give
All right.
this one to you.
I'm here with the pole sitter, Cowboy Nation. Man, you had probably the biggest stock market type day that we've ever seen out of the racetrack, man. You were up, you were down. You had a penalty at one point, went a lap down, made it back. You were coming through the field, about to catch the field actually when they restarted without you. Man, just walk me through a little bit of your day, and coming away with a top 3 ain't no slouch after that kind of performance.
Yeah, it was. I really needed long runs. I really wanted to do a long run. I wanted to get on pit road because I know a lot of people was probably gonna make a mistake. I really wanted to get on pit road, the access road, and getting off. I think I could have made a whole lot of time up right there, but overall, I think I had I think if I didn't have the best car I thought I had, as long as I got out, I knew the 22 was the person I had to race, and that's why I wanted to get to and try to fill him out so I can make the proper adjustments to my car. But the wrecking and stuff like that, it was too many cautions. I couldn't get a feel of everything that I needed. But at the end, I try to make it a show. I try my best, but the 22 and the 12, they race real clean. I would, if I could talk to them at the end of the race, I would have told them good racing and everything. Y'all league put on a good show tonight, and if we can do it again, I'd be happy to do that too.
Well, you certainly impressed there, Cowboy. I know we were pulling for you up in the booth, and we were glad to see at the very end of the race it come down to you, the 22 and the 12. We knew you guys had the class of the field there. Would have loved to see a couple extra laps, because I thought I had my money on you on a long run. I thought you had the best car on a long run, brother.
Yeah.
But hey, sometimes that's how the cookie crumbles, my man. Congratulations on the finish.
Yes, sir.
And best of luck to you.
All right, thank you. I appreciate everybody and everybody involved. I appreciate everything that y'all did today.
Thank you, man. Have a good one.
Thank you.
All right, y'all too.
All right, next on the list, the 12 car of Racing Rocks for Unbound.
Racing Rocks, you drove the number 12 Jax Link's Mustang to a comfortable second place today, at times holding much of the lead. Your teammate Hurricane Lane in the number 22 Shell Pennzoil Mustang was the biggest competitor all night. How hard was it holding off and staying glued to the back of that 22?
First, 22's a hard challenger, always in the front. Strategy's got to be always try to stay as close as you can to it. That was for me personally, that was the way that we were going to try to win it for the team, was get him in the lead. But all in all, it was a good weekend, or a good race for us. 42 was strong for them, so we had to really keep an eye on him.
It was a good race, and congratulations on that second place. You brought it home for a podium. The 22 of Hurricane Lane 22. You come home in first place. You've got the fastest lap of the race. Cowboy Nation had a wonderful race behind you all night long, but in the end, you brought it home first for Unbound. How difficult was it maintaining that car with wearing tires and very stiff competition?
I'll tell you that this thing is loose on the long run. I adjusted for the short run, and for the 12 to play blocker for me on those final restart. That kind of allowed me to pull away for like a couple of tenths to allow the 42 to not catch me. And big shout out to my engineer, Jordan. He gave me a really good short run setup to allow this Unbound Racing number 22 to get to victory lane here today.
Congratulations on that win, and I'm sure you picked up a lot of points for Unbound in the end of this one. We'll tabulate these points together and see where your team finishes.
Yeah, thank you. This is much fun.
All right. So there you guys heard it. All the respective drivers in their leagues. So Slideshow, do we have a official points results here, or are you still tallying those up?
We do.
Okay.
No,
All right.
we are good at. All right, so we discussed. It looked like the big decider in first stage. Unbound taking that first stage by storm, and then coming back a little bit. We saw almost a tie in the stage 2, and then stage 3. We saw it first. Unbound really, was able to capitalize in that third stage. But point total, WSRL, we'll start with them. They're gonna come home with a cool 268 points. And Unbound is going to come home with a grand total of 376 points. So Unbound is your unofficial winner.
Let's go.
Barring any penalties afterwards. So we are going to now talk to the owner. So let's first talk to the owner of Unbound. I believe, let me just make sure he's in here.
Yep, I'm in here.
All right. So we are here with Big Spur 14. So unofficially, you're moving on to the next round. How proud are you of your guys, and what are you looking forward to in the next round?
I was going to say, I'm proud of my boys. Had a couple movements in our roster the last couple of days, but really came together, really practiced hard, and really had a good night. Little bumps in the road, that doesn't matter. We persevered, had great stage points, and overall finished well. And I'm just happy that we're going to be able to move on to round 2, hopefully.
Absolutely. You guys put on a fantastic show, and we hope to see you do well in further rounds if the results hold. All right, now we are talking to Wild Will C from WSRL. So, if everything holds up, unfortunately, you will not be making the next round. However, your guys put up a hell of a fight. What are your last words for your team in the tournament?
It was just a tough race. We had a lot of obstacles that we could not overcome. It was hard for me. Being in the back, I couldn't even contribute to my team, and that was hard for me. I tried to get up to the front, but it was always an obstacle. Which that's racing. Stuff happens. I get that, but hats off to Unbound. Congratulations. I thought we were the better team, but apparently on paper we're not. So it's tough pill to swallow. You know, you look forward to something like this. My guys are pumped about it all day, and just disappointment. That's all I can say.
Well, it's definitely always an opportunity to grow and get better, and you guys definitely showed a ton of promise, and we hope to see you back for the next one better and stronger than ever. So, the last question I have for you today, sir, is you guys definitely put on a show. So, if the fans at home want to follow your league or the drivers out there want to join your league, how can they do that?
I have Facebook, WSRL. I have Instagram, Twitter. Wild Will C99 is my gamer tag. We're always looking for competitive drivers. You saw I brought some pretty good drivers. Cowboy's been in my league, since we started. So he's always been fast. And, just like I said, we had some guys who just couldn't get up there. Vinge is fast, really fast guys. I mean, defending champ couldn't make it this week because he had to work. But we persevered, and we won't hold our heads down over this. We'll move forward. I mean, I want to thank y'all for putting on the show. Thank you for the invitation. Just didn't fall our way. And Dohar and Dynamite and Rick James, badass interview or commentating. Sorry, I don't know if I can say that, but hell of a job, guys. And I watch it, and I had some friends of mine that were watching it and said they were doing a great job. So, great job all around. Good deal. Hell, maybe next time I'll be able to do something, but it's too many obstacles to overcome. It was just too tough for us tonight, but we'll rebound. WSR will be back, and we thank y'all for everything, man. So, on behalf of us, congratulations again to Unbound. Barring everything holds up, and we'll see y'all on the track.
Absolutely.
Yes,
we thank you for coming and putting on a show. You definitely have a great group of drivers. So as he said, check him out on Facebook, WSRL. Hit up Wild Will C99. And with that, we'll get Ford's final thoughts, and then we'll send it back up to the boys in the booth.
My final thoughts for the night was, both teams had a few mistakes. One had a connection issue, but the two biggest movers was the 42 and the 38. We watched them go from the back to the front. And it was just mind blowing how easy they made it seem. And both teams have great drivers. But like I said, those little mistakes, and there was we heard a little bit of aggression in the chat. But hats off to both teams. I mean, they both put up a good battle on the track. I know they would love to see it go green a little bit, but like I said, those mistakes happen, and they both were able to overcome because every driver ended up on the lead lap, and that's awesome. I mean, those mistakes were made up. So my hat's off to both teams. Congratulations to Unbound to making it to the second round unofficially, of course. And we hope to see y'all in the next round.
Absolutely. And just before we send it back, let's just take a moment to talk about the action coming up tomorrow. So first, we're starting with mine and Ford's own league, the host league for the tournament, Fast Family Racing League, taking on Game Fuel Cup Series tomorrow, Tuesday, 9 p.m. at Atlanta. While I pull out the second one, Ford, are you excited to get in the car with me tomorrow?
Oh my God, I'm so excited. We've been out. We haven't touched a steering wheel or a controller in the last 2 weeks. So we're excited to be out there racing instead of, officialing. So hopefully we can put on a good show, just like all these other teams have. And hopefully we can make it to the second round. I'm pretty excited about that.
We're also, for those fans at home, we're also going to be giving away a copy of NASCAR Heat 5. So we'll be posting some point tomorrow. I'll give you the details now. We are going to be posting a trivia question, a Fast Family trivia question, tomorrow on our social media. We are going to, you're going to find all the answers you need on our social media. So go check it out, Fast Family Racing League, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We'll post the trivia question out there. We'll give you the whole day to find the answer. And then the first person in chat that posts the correct answer to the trivia question, along with predicting the winner for that race, the winning league, not the winning driver. We won't make it too hard. Just the winning league. Hopefully fast family, safe bet. Who knows? But anyway, first person to do that in the stream and is present at the end of the race wins a digital copy of NASCAR Heat 5. So definitely be there for that. And then also going on 30 minutes before that, check out Shake and Bake versus Left Turn Loonies, 8:30 p.m. at Chicagoland. And I believe Mr. Dohar will be in the booth for that one, so excited to see him again. And with that, I'm going to send it up to the boys in the booth to wrap it up.
All right. Thank you, Slide Job, for that. And again, yeah, for those updates for tomorrow's race. So again, yeah, tune in tomorrow night. Yeah, 1 to 8:30 between Shake and Bake and Left Turn Loonies in Chicago. And then, yeah, again, you got the Host League versus the Game Fuel Cup Series, 9 p.m., 2 primetime matchups. That second one being at the Fast Track of Atlanta. But boys, oh man, it's been one heck of a race. Rick James and Dohar, it was fun being up in the booth with you guys. It was fun commentating with you guys, and hopefully we meet again in the future sometime soon.
Absolutely, brother.
It was incredibly fun to call that race with you. The fans can find us all at Tyler Dohar. That's Dohar. That's where you can find JRM Dohar 88. Kid, they can find you at K McCormick19, and you can find Rick James at I'm Rick James 36 on Twitter.
Yes. So yeah.
And we'd like to thank the announcers one last time. The three of them did an amazing job. We'd also like to thank our pace car and in our trip. He did a fantastic job. We saw quite a bit of him tonight. So
Amazing
thank you
job.
to him. And I also want to thank all the officials that made tonight possible. You guys are always awesome, and you guys have one of the toughest jobs. So thank you very much, guys. And good night from all of us.
Yes. Again.
Good night.
From the
Good
Fast
night.
Family Racing League Showdown, from the cast and crew. Thank you to everybody who put this one together. Congratulations unofficially to the Unbound Cup Series. Your winner for tonight as of right now. Stay tuned for any more updates. But again, for the cast and crew, we will see you guys tomorrow night.